This and all episodes of the podcast have been brought to you by our generous patrons over at Patreon, the DAYZ podcast. If you're interested in finding out more about how you can support the show each week, then please click the link in the description down below to find out more information about Patreon, the DAYZ podcast. Thank you for your support.
Over to me. Oh, now you're making me think. Happy days. Happy
Episode
days.
31.
Right. I was just going to say, what are we, 31 now, aren't we? Yeah, fucking hell. Episode 31 of the DAYZ podcast. Welcome, everyone, to episode 31 of the DAYZ podcast. You got myself, Brimstone Live, co-hosting here with Boydie73 and our special guest, DudeIRage, who stepped in at the almost pretty much at the last minute for we were supposed to be having Dude on in a few weeks' time, but he's very kindly and very graciously brought himself forward by a few weeks to help us out of a jam. So we've definitely much love on that one.
We did have THC Monkey from Essica lined up, Dude, but the program's been delayed a bit, so he asked us to postpone indefinitely until they get things going again. So yeah, I saw when we put the tweet out, your little hand up, like, I'm available. I can come.
Oh yeah. I'm always down. I think we had more. Like, I used to have more consistent conversation about DayZ, and you've watched my streams a lot, and you know that I always have a lot to say. So I'm always down for a good conversation in DayZ's regard.
And back with the Compass podcast, you used to do with Coops and Rage and Septic, and
yeah, as much as I could. I always had a lot to say.
Works out quite well for us then, because I think we're all quite opinionated around here. Whether that's a good thing or not is yet to be seen.
I think that's a good thing. If you're passionate about something, you have a lot to say.
Yep. And respect when you don't always agree.
Correct.
Best way for it. So how have you been? How's the streams been going recently then, Dude?
So I've been really well. I wasn't well for a long time. Boydie, credit to you, man. You always checked in on me, even when I've not like posted that I'm down. Like, you just somehow know. It's like a dad instinct almost. I don't know what it is, but you always check on me. But no, I wasn't good for a long time. I stepped away from DayZ because I was dealing with something hard in my life. And I was finding all this, like, the bugs and the negative things in DayZ, and I was just shitting on the game completely. So I stepped away from it entirely. Every stream I was bashing it, and then I just quit streaming. So shit went downhill. Pardon my French, but it went downhill way majorly. I quit playing DayZ. All my support essentially disappeared. It was my own fault because I was getting on and I wasn't having fun. But I found a healthy mental state now, and things are rolling. Things in my personal life are rolling. My career is booming. I've had 3 promotions in the last 3 months. The stream is unbelievable. We just hit 400 subscribers again for the first time since I quit streaming last night. People are loving the DayZ streams. I'm back on DayZ every day. I can't get enough. So things are going really, really well with the stream.
Awesome. I think it takes quite a I'm trying to think of the right way to word it now. Takes a big person, I suppose, is the right way of wording it for now. It takes it takes a good person to admit when they've got a problem, when something's, not quite right, and then to have that wherewithal and that sort of, self-awareness to say, look, something's not quite what it should be. I'm going to take a step back, fix that first, and then see where we're at from there. I think that takes quite a lot of balls, really, in a way, to sort of admit that sort of thing about yourself to yourself.
I think it was just obvious at that point, but yeah, I mean, it did take a lot for me to step away. I mean, my channel was I got partnered in January, and I had hit the all-time highest numbers on my channel that I had ever had. I had 822 subscribers consistently for a year. I had 700-800 subs. I mean, my YouTube videos were 2-3 times a month, sometimes more than that a month. And I'd go live and 100, 200 people in my chat immediately. And it was a big deal for me to step away. I didn't want to step away. I didn't, but I had to. I just wasn't right. And it took me a long time to get my shit together. Sometimes I still have my bad days. And like I said, Boydie seems to just check in on me right when I'm having a bad time or I'm thinking about it. But
it's reading between the lines on posts and things like that, mate. It's you could probably say it is a bit of a dad instinct in that, but you're not the only one. I do it too, mate. There's a lot of people out there, particularly those who, you were quite public as well about, you know, your issues. You didn't go into depth in it, but that you were having dramas and that. So, of course, you know, it's you know, I joked about it the other week. We did a topic, dude, where we talked about depression and anxiety and just how bad it is for everyone, especially with 2020 right now. And here in Australia, we have this thing called Are You OK Day? And they've had to do another advertising campaign to say that the conversation goes beyond just saying to someone, are you okay? And it's the same for, you know, like you were quite open when you were having the issues, but yeah, it's never just you're better. It's a gradual process. And that's why, you know, every now and then, you know, I'll fire out a few messages to different people who I know and that, and just welfare check, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, it goes a long way, and I'm not sure who else you're reaching out to, but I'm sure they appreciate it too, man. It really does. Believe me, I don't forget about it.
No one's blocked me yet when I done it, so I must be doing something right.
Emphasis on the word yet.
Yeah, yet.
So in that time that you sort of stepped away and sort of managed to kind of get yourself a little bit more back on track, did you kind of keep up with the community? Did you see the changes and the updates and things like that? Was it something you were still sort of somewhat in the background active with?
No, not entirely. I mean, I would definitely like stop in. Like I've always tried to like sub to as many people as I can just to support them. So I'd pop in and I'd drop a resub or drop a brand new sub on somebody in the community, and then I'd just be out. I couldn't watch DayZ, didn't watch any DayZ videos, didn't keep up with it. My mental space just wasn't there. I just couldn't do it.
It's a demanding game. It really is. And I think we all go through those phases. You know, I don't think there's really anyone who can 100% hand on their heart say, I love DayZ no matter what. There's, you know, I stopped playing it there for a while and was playing PUBG. I just couldn't deal with it for a bit. It was just too much for me.
Yeah, I think it kind of boils down to a degree to, you know, in small parts, like too much of a good thing, you know, and that repetition gets boring after a while. That's why I can't understand how guys like Running Mans and Minder and Toprek and guys like that who stream and make content on a basically a daily basis, how they do that for just one game and pretty much one game only. Like, I've got nothing but respect for guys that do that, because I can't imagine streaming, like doing like a 9-to-5 job, then coming home and streaming, you know, 5, 6, whatever days a week.
I think all three of them are full-time content creators now, aren't they? You'd know, I know the Running Man is, but you'd know with Taupe and Minder, they're both full-time streamers / YouTubers, aren't they?
Yeah,
Dude?
yeah, they are. And like you said, credit to them, because I did it for a year. But I've been streaming DayZ for 7 years. 7 years? This December will be my 7th year streaming and playing DayZ. And I've been doing it consistently, but I've also played Miscreated. I've also played a buttload of Escape from Tarkov. I've also played tons of horror games. These guys, they just play DayZ. Like, and I boost them up for that all the time. I tell them in DMs, like, the game's as a joke, like, the game's terrible, the game's awful. I don't know how you guys do this for however many years, you know, just as it's like a meme at this point. Like, you know, the outside world sees DayZ. The game's awful. I don't know how people play it still. It's terrible. Stop playing it. But those guys, man, credit to them, man. They do it nonstop. They live and breathe DayZ. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to be a full-time content creator. I think that's kind of where a lot of us are kind of wanting to head. That's kind of like the end game to a degree. But for me, the idea of becoming a full-time content creator on just one particular game, just that I can't imagine doing that. I'd have to switch DayZ off and just switch over to something else. You know, even if it was, I've never played it, but even if it was like Minecraft, just to change up something once every now and then, I think I'd actually lose my mind.
That's where I give them the most. That's where I give them the most credit, is that there are times where you look at your list of games in Steam library and you look at DayZ and you go, "Do I have it in me today? Do I have it in me? I just don't know whether I can turn it on today." Whereas for those guys, it's, I've got to turn it on, because, you know, if they play something different, are they going to have the same audience? You know, you see so many content creators who are DayZ exclusive and they dabble in something else and their numbers just dive. They have people coming in the chat Why aren't you playing DayZ? Oh, I'm not going to watch then.
Yeah, that happens all the time, man. It happens. It literally happened to me last night, or no, it was the night before I played Phasmophobia with some friends, and every October I do something called Ragetober, and I just play nothing but horror games. The stream before I was like 100 and I don't know 100 plus, and then the stream where I played Phasmophobia I dropped down to 25 viewers consistently, and all of those people came in and they're just like, hey, why aren't you on DayZ? Can you do one life of DayZ when you're done, please? Like they're just, it's almost like a drug. It's like people are like, they don't want to watch anything else but DayZ. It's actually kind of crazy.
But it's funny because I can kind of get it from their perspective as well, because whenever I'm on Twitch, I would say a good 90+% of the content I'm watching on Twitch is DayZ related. Whether it's someone that I'm already friends with and know, or whether it's just some random streamer I decide to drop in on and check out a new person, it's the majority is DayZ. I don't really tend to watch a huge amount of other content unless I've got a close friend who's streaming something else, and then I'll go and check that out and support them. But it's weird how it is such an, like I say, it's almost like a drug. It is like an addictive quality to it.
Yeah, I think people would be actually more surprised than they think they would be if they gave other games a shot. Truthfully, I find DayZ 10 times more refreshing when I'm playing something else or I'm watching something else for a little while, and then I find myself craving DayZ like a drug really bad, and I have to play it.
Yeah, I think it's almost that absence makes the heart grow fonder thing where, like you say, you go away from it for a little while and you come back and you realize what you've missed and you're like, I have to get back into that now.
Even mixing up your play style as well. If you're getting bored with DayZ, don't forget there's different ways to play the game. Try something different. Play a different sort of character in the game, or play a different style of server. You know, that's the beauty of DayZ, is it's not just a rinse and repeat game. There's so many different things you can do in it, so many different ways to play. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps with all the different servers that are out there now, and there's a lot of different modded maps available now on the standalone launcher and things like that. Like you say, changing up that play style. I went from playing pretty much lone wolf PvE, just hanging out, you know, doing my own thing if I'm not streaming, to now I'm quite happily jump onto a high pop PvP server and just go absolutely berserk. And then another day, I'd just think, you know what, I'm going to have a little bit of a hardcore and I'm going to grind it out and die 8 times before I can actually know what I'm doing. And there's so much variety allowed out there now with this community. It's really good to see that there's so many different things coming to the forefront again now.
Does being in a big stream team like Karma Crew help with that at all, dude?
You know, I never... Oh, man, that's one of those. I never I just, you know. So when I got invited to the Karma Crew, like I wanted to join, obviously, because without a doubt, Karma Crew is the most prestigious stream team in DayZ history. I mean, there's without a doubt in my mind, nobody could argue that with me, because I got tons of ammo on that. Not because I'm on it, because I don't feel like I deserve. I publicly was very vocal about this, that I should leave the team, and I told people before Lottie left, before OG left, that I was going to leave the team, and that was just because I just feel out of place. You know, there's Toprek, legend; Minder, absolute legend; Wobo, no words; DudeIRage, what? No, but I never, when I first joined, I'm like, man, dude, like, I don't know if I can accept this. That's the Karma Crew. It had smoke on it. It had Deadly Slob on it at one point. The Running Man Z was on that team at some point. So it's like, I don't know if I should accept this. And Minder's like, nah, dude, just accept it, man. You belong here, blah, 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 whatever. So I did. But now it's just, now being on the team, like, they're just my friends, and that's the way. I don't see it any other way. Truthfully, it's just a bunch of guys playing DayZ. I mean, that's the only way I see it now. I don't see it any other way, in any other light.
But I mean more in the collab sense, you know, getting to play with different people who've got different play styles. And
I love playing with anybody. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care who it is. I'll play with them as long as it's not. It's unique to see. Like, at the same time, oh man, I'm all over the place with this one. I see people play. The only way I really don't like is running around shooting every fucking thing that breathes and moves. I can't do that. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to be on like the V++ first person server. That's what I'm going to be. Or I'm going to be on like third person Trump's wall, just memeing around, not giving a shit, right? But if I'm on it, like I can't play with somebody who's going to do that. So generally, if you see me play with somebody, it's with Minder who wants to develop a story. Granted, I'll play with Taupe once in a while. He kind of shoots everything that moves and breathes, but the man's fucking, he does it artistically. It's unbelievable. He's beautiful when he shoots. It's just, I kiss the man. I don't know. I'll play with anybody. It doesn't matter to me. Playstyle doesn't really matter as long as they're not KOSing every single thing. A PvPer is not really... It doesn't really do it for me.
I've got the guy who created the Vanilla++ server in my chat at the moment.
Yeah, I like what he's done. I believe it was him that would hang out in Blink Tactics chat. Most people aren't going to know who Blink Tactics is, but OGs are going to know who Blink Tactics is.
Yeah.
Blink Tactics, yeah, he was always in Blink Tactics chat. I love the server. I do. I just don't play it that often because I don't know. I'm at the point at 7 years where like PvP just doesn't really, if I want to play like a first person shooter, and this is my biggest argument for DayZ PvP, I feel that DayZ PvP is extremely clunky and it's just not fulfilling, not rewarding. Whereas I feel like talking to people and interactions are way more rewarding than just shooting them and taking things from them.
The tactical side of DayZ PvP is fantastic.
I agree.
But as just a pure on the shooting mechanics, yeah, I totally agree with you.
No, I agree. If map knowledge is key, it's huge in DayZ PvP. You could be the worst person at shooting people. You could be the worst at aiming guns and understanding gun mechanics in any shooter. But if you know the map better than the person you're fighting, 9 times out of 10 you're going to win that fight. I mean, it's just knowing angles and knowing what you can shoot through, knowing what angles you can shoot somebody are way better than just being able to shoot in DayZ. 100%. Agree.
Yeah, I think you got a lot, like you said, you got guys like Taupe that just do that side of DayZ to a whole level that next to no one else can sort of do. You've got, I mean, I think the only other one really I would think would be Running Mans that can kind of get sort of really close to that. There's not a huge amount of people that can do it, like you say, in that artistic way that those guys do.
Smoke.
And yeah, Smoke. But again, they're so few and far between that, like you say, it's a clunky thing, but they make it work. I don't know how the hell they do it. I like to think I'm a half decent PvPer, but generally speaking, definitely nowhere near what those guys can do.
See, I don't put the Running Man in the same category as Smoke and Taupe.
I don't either.
The Running Man is more what Dude said. It's his knowledge of the map. It's his knowledge of stuff like that. I got in a lot of trouble with him and a lot of his fanboys some time back when I called him the Everymans. He's what you can become if you put in the hours and the time learning the game and becoming a master of the game. You know, there's no denying he's a master of the science of DayZ, just when I'm talking about the physics of the guns and stuff like that. But when it comes to your pure Shroud-like PvP skill, nah, man. He's not on that level. He can have moments of brilliance, but Taupe and Smoke are just, even Minder to an extent. That video of Taupe and Minder running through a forest, I think it was on the Livonia one, Vigilante Gamer tweeted it out. It was just a thing of fucking beauty to watch. And at the same time, I just felt so sorry for the guys who they were fighting. They never stood a chance. It was literally... Even when someone can make Taupe wreck, kind of surprised that I just saw some blokes here they're taken care of. And even Taupe was going, already? And Minder's like, yeah. Minder is well up there as well. He's just, their PvP skills, he's not consistent, in my opinion, as Taupe wreck is. Taupe wreck's just a freak of fucking nature. The same with Smoke. But the thing I love about both of them is that doesn't define them. They don't just run around being the KOS douchebags like a lot of people do these days. Those two, so some of my Taupe wreck's best videos are the ones where he's trolling people for shits and giggles. That's the stuff I love. His pure PvP content. If he has a video go up with epic squad wipe, I'm probably not going to watch it. If he has a video coming up trolling people in Cami, I'm going to fucking watch it because his sense of humor is fucking gold. And it's the same with Smoke. Smoke is the same in that he has this cheeky side of him. He's just as happy doing shenanigans on the coast as he is being at the Northwest Airfield wiping fucking Shroud and Summit and God knows who else he wiped that day.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will credit Minder with is I actually earlier on today watched, I think it's his most recent YouTube video, and he is sniping people from Altar down to there's that little castle thing, just a little couple hundred meters away from Altar radio station, and someone's built a base there, and he's got a video of him with a Mosin. And he's sniping like mad. And I absolutely love sniping in DayZ. I'm shit at it, but I love it nonetheless. And as much as I've sort of criticized and critiqued Minder for things in the past, I can't help but say it was a fantastic video, because some of those shots I can only dream of actually being able to make, especially with the bullet drop.
He's a brilliant editor. And like Dude said before, He generally goes into each session wanting a story, and he's got that rare skill of being able to think about what he's doing and how it's going to pan out. Like, I remember watching him when he was recording stuff for his Brothers of DayZ series and that, and he's just got this unique ability to be able to control and stream and record high quality, top quality videos as well.
Yeah, I definitely wish I had the knowledge and the patience to do that. Like I say, I was sitting on a couple of clips for about 6 months, just trying to figure out how to make a half decent video with it. And in the end, I just gave up and just put a compilation together. I was like, it's just a compilation of a bunch of cool moments and kills, because there's no way. One of the things, I squad wiped 3 people on I think it was a experimental build. And it was such a phenomenal clip, and it was pure luck that I actually managed to survive it. And yet I was just like, I've got to do something with it, and I couldn't fathom for the love of me how to do it and how to properly edit into a decent story. So yeah, I've got to give definitely big props to a lot of people that can do it as that well, because it certainly is not in my wheelhouse, not at all.
Right, you do. What do you do for your videos?
It just takes practice, man. I found that anybody can do it. Wanting to create a story is as simple as going out and trying to create one in game, trying to make something happen in game that's not just shooting somebody, and putting it together piece by piece, starting with how you started versus how it ended. You know, where it ends is up to you. Whether you have to go, whether you have to log off, whether you decide to kill this person that you're traveling with, whether you decide to part ways, whatever. It all ends with you. Anybody can do it. I believe the difficult part is trying to understand how to piece it together so that it's entertaining in a video. But once you got that part down, putting it together is easy. Actually, like you were saying, is you had clips where it sits for 6 months. Dude, that's we all do it too. Miner does it. I know Taupe does it. I know Jaycon does it. Jake is just as guilty as I am. I've got stuff I had stuff from over a year that was unbelievable, top quality content that I should have. Oh my god, I should have uploaded it, but I didn't. I let it sit. Couldn't figure out how I wanted to piece it together, and I'm like, no. I just ended up deleting it all because you just can't sit on stuff for like that for too long. But I believe anybody can do it. Truthfully, it just takes a little bit of practice.
Yeah, I think I definitely need that little bit of practice nowadays. But going back to what you were saying earlier as well, with you had that sort of that break. Where you didn't sort of play DayZ, you didn't stream anything, sort of stuck away from it. What was it like coming back? Sort of how much was it that had changed in that period of time? What was it that sort of caught your eye that made you think, right, now I definitely need to get back and give it another shake of the stick?
I would say that coming back to streaming in general was intimidating. It was super intimidating to know where I was, and then thinking that things would be the same would be silly. I didn't think that. I knew that I would have to work 10 times harder to get back, just to get back into the swing of things, and just being able to hit the go live button. You see that on Twitter all the time. If you're following tons of streamers and you're watching that, they often will tweet like just having trouble hitting go live. I'm around, but just can't do it. Like, that's where it was. Like, I would look at my mouse with my OBS open, like hovering over that start streaming, and I'm like, man, I just can't do it today. But seeing how the game changed, and seeing how the community was not changed, but like transforming, from the 6 months essentially that I was gone, on top of the stress of going live and all the questions in my head. Is anybody going to want to watch me? Are they going to want to watch me play something else other than DayZ? You know, all those things. It was super, super intimidating for sure.
How did your community handle you walking away from them?
They were not happy with me. No, I got messages all the time, from people. Why aren't you here? Do you even care? Sad faces, just randomly, like, where are you? But I also, a lot of people turned me leaving into me abandoning them, actually, and just completely separated themselves from my community, which I get. Like, I'm real big on that. You know, I'm very vocal about what I'm doing in my life, where I'm going. I have a personal side that I need to learn, that I need to keep for just me. But I'm very open. You can ask me anything, and I'll tell you everything you want to hear. Honestly, I really don't care. But they were not, overall, they were not happy with me. A lot of people were not happy with me leaving. So it was interesting, to say the least. It still is interesting to see people come back now, actually, that, you know, where you been? Like, you know where I've been, because I've been very vocal about it. It's just I wasn't playing DayZ. That's why you were gone.
It's mad to me that, I mean, I kind of understand it from their perspective of, you know, if you spend a couple of years sort of invested in someone, following, subbing, watching all the videos, watching all the streams, and then one day they're gone, even with an explanation, I can understand to a degree where they're coming from. But the idea to me that there were people that were so upset or so sort of, you know, concerned to a degree by it, but not in a good way, is, you know, the fact that you would have people that would literally be sending you messages with, like, you know, with emojis and stuff, you know, crying faces and things like that, rather than messaging you or something and saying, how you feeling, you know, hope all's well, look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully, fingers crossed, that kind of, but instead almost going down that selfish route of, you know, you're not here anymore, why have you abandoned us? That's mind-boggling to me, that someone would, especially like you say, when you were vocal, you were upfront with, look, this is what's happening, this is how I'm feeling, this is why I'm taking the break. You didn't just disappear, you know.
To your point, I did get those too. Like, you know, I hope I got a lot of those. Like, Boydie would check on me all the time. Boydie and other people. Veteran Bailey, one of the guys that watches my stream, has been watching my stream actually for 4 years. Messaged me all the time, like, look, dude, like, it's actually crazy. Like, he's just like I am. He literally told me, he's like, dude, I sat here and cried, like, because you were gone, like. Because he's ex-military. I think he's got some issues with that. All the respect in the world for him, but he's like, look, man, like, the thought of you leaving literally made me sit on my couch and cry. Like, you are the reason why some days where I get up so that I can watch and get away from all the shit that I struggle with mentally. So I've had moments before that in the years that I've been doing this.
Shoulders, mate.
It is, but it makes me realize how important it is to do what we do. Like, every streamer, like, when you go live, it's more than, these days, at least in my belief, it's more than just going live and playing games. It's connecting and building relationships with people, and it goes beyond just hitting go live. It goes beyond everything. Like, these people come to this to get away from their bullshit that they deal with, whatever it is, every day. So that's, ever since I've had some issues in the past, not issues, but moments, I've realized how important it is to be transparent. I try to be as transparent as possible with everybody that I encounter and interact with, so that they know what's going on, because I don't want to beat around the bush. You know, I want people to understand why I'm gone, and I'm not leaving. And there are people that I know that are around the streaming gig, or were around the streaming gig, that would just disappear without a word, and I would even check on them and no response. And, you know, you're going to do things how you're going to do things, but that's just not how I personally handle just leaving.
You've raised a really good point there, mate, in that some people need to really think about how they use their online persona. That it's not just about making the money, paying their bills and all the rest of it, but the relationship they form with their fans, with their community, is something they really need to be careful of. And it's something that it always scares me with the really big name guys. You just don't see them connecting with their community the way that the smaller, and when I say smaller, I'm still talking about the Pauls, the Minders, the Topes and that. They've got these relationships with their regular viewers. And it goes above and beyond from when they turn on the camera. They're probably exchanging DM messages with these people and maybe having fan meetups and stuff like that. But they've got to be very responsible with what they do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people connect with their communities more than we see. Like you're saying, like DMs and stuff like that. I know I certainly do, but I try to translate that relationship that I have with people in the chat too. Like, I've been told actually this has been kind of a flaw in my regard, and it is. I can see it some ways. I have a personal life, but like, man, I go live sometimes so that I can fucking vent to chat, so they can talk to me, so like I can get my shit off, and they take everything I give them and they give it back in their own lives too. We talk about everything under the sun in my chat, and I also realize that could be a flaw sometimes too, because I know streamers have to have a personal life, we have to have a private side, but I've gotten better about it, but for the most part, I'm pretty transparent.
I'm more with you, mate. I'm more with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard for some people, isn't it, to sort of realize that what you see on camera isn't necessarily always what's real, so to speak. And at the end of the day, we are all human. We're not all robots. Like you say, we've all got our own things going on. And, sometimes it's just, like you say, that it's almost like that therapy for yourself. When you hit that go live button and you've got that core handful of people, or however many it is, that's in there every time, that already knows your background, that you can say, look, today this happened, wasn't really feeling great about it. And you can kind of, like you say, use your chat to vent slightly. It's amazing how it's such an incredible two-way street. And that it still boggles my mind that there are people that will literally sit in your chat. And when I say I mean any streamer's chat, and just chat absolute shit for 12 hours. And, and just sit there. And it could be the most mundane, random thing. And I still get it, where I can't imagine that not being a thing now. It's such an incredible thing that there are people out there that will just sit and talk for, to a streamer for hours and hours and enjoy themselves. And, it's be that sort of that pair of ears, without even realizing that they're necessarily helping, in such a positive way. It's just that, they're just there enjoying the content, getting involved in the chat a little bit. But it can be that one person can make such a difference in your day. It still boggles my mind.
Are either of you two guys familiar with Boogie2988?
Yeah, he was the YouTuber, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's a good example of why you're better off just being yourself, as close to yourself as possible. Like you said, dude, Brim, we're all human. We all have our flaws and all the rest of it. But Boogie had this fake persona that he used to put on, particularly for his YouTube videos, of what he thought the perfect person was. Whereas if you ever watched him stream, he was a very different person. And that started becoming more well-known. And it basically led to, he's still massive by comparison to us and that, but he suffered massively from not being his true self with his online persona, trying to be this fake person, what he thought people wanted him to be, and not just being himself. So I think it's a lot more relaxing to just be as close to yourself as you possibly can. And if people like it, they'll like it. If they don't, at least you're being yourself. You don't have to feel bad. Don't have to put this fake game face on every time you fire up the stream. You could just fire it up and be yourself.
Yeah, I think that can sometimes be the struggle I have with hitting that go live button. Like Dude said earlier, having that, sitting there and hovering over that button, the amount of times in the last couple of weeks I've sat there, and it could be like just a normal Wednesday evening, and I just bring up my Streamlabs and I hit go live, I put a title in and everything, and I sit there and I just stare at the screen for about 5 minutes and then just hit the cancel button and you go, fuck it. And I end up playing DayZ anyway. I end up playing on whatever server I fancy that night, and I'm there for God knows how many hours. But it's just, there's such a difference in sitting there and playing offline to actually streaming and playing, whether you've got 1 viewer, 100 viewers, 1,000 viewers. You know, it's such a weird juxtaposition to sort of have to sit there and hit that go, and the struggle it takes just to click your mouse button once. And for the system to, because obviously the computer does it all for you, and you just sit there and do whatever you want. It's such a weird one, and yet it's something that we're all kind of linked by. In that, I'm sure anyone who's ever streamed, even for 5 minutes, has had that same thought and feeling of, why am I hitting this button, and how do I feel about that? It's such a weird thing to sort of go through, but at the same time, I think it is normal. It is normal to sort of have those feelings and have that, you know, that struggle to do something. The same with that, that struggle to get out of bed, or that struggle to make that important phone call you need to make, you know, things like that. It's such a weird one, but it's like I say, it's something that we all sort of go through.
Yeah, we do. I think it's a lot harder for new streamers or people that are interested in creation, and for streamers that are a lot smaller than the bigger guys. Obviously, I think it's a lot harder personally. I get people all the time like, how do you do it, man? Like, I'm sure you guys get it every single day. I get it. And, you know, how can I start a Twitch stream? How can I get my channel to where yours is at? It's difficult. It's difficult for everyone. I think about it all the time, man. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know why I bother doing this. You know, I've been doing this since I was 15. You know, I started and failed multiple times. I also succeeded when I was very young, early on. I actually played a little bit of professional Call of Duty, and I didn't follow through. Like, I just kind of quit doing that. I was on a channel called Clash of the Clans before Clash of the Clans, the game, blew up, which was Call of Duty clans fighting each other and setting up matches. And they had 400,000 subs, and my channel blew up, and then I just kind of quit. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I would consider it more failure on my part, and maybe because I was young, I don't know, but I failed many, many times in the years before I actually found some sort of success. So I think mentally, people need to find the strength within themselves and give themselves more credit where it's due, because they can actually do the things that I can do it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You just have to put the effort in and believe in yourself and believe in what you're creating, and you can get there, man. Anybody can.
Are you still doing the workout streams?
I only did those periodically, and the reason is because I would do them more consistently, but I'm not allowed to broadcast what I paid for, even though I paid for it, which is the P90X program, which is what I used to cut all the weight I lost, and the T25 program as well. I can't stream them, so those are my workout guides. That's what I use when I work out, and I can't. I'd get banned.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, it's going to be copyrighted and
right.
That,
even though I've already paid for it, and like I even asked my my partner rep if I could like make it a sub only stream, and they said no, absolutely not. It's still infringement, so I can't do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame as well, isn't it? Because when you've got something like that that's so cool, that's, you know, you've gone on that journey of bettering yourself, you know, not only physically but mentally, and to not be able to sort of include that in what is essentially chronicling your life up to that point, seems mad that's not something that you can put out there, in you know, at all.
Yeah, it is what it is. I try to motivate people as much as I can. Again, I did lose over 100 pounds in 2 years, and man, wow. It was, for me, it was really hard to get that motivation, but I found it, and I want to help people do that as much as I can too. I'd love to stream more workout streams. It's just I can't do it, unfortunately.
Quick shout outs. Foxypote is out shopping for the missus' birthday. On the way home where I can watch properly, just tell DudeIRage I love him. And Mr. Coach 1951, hello boss, I love JR. Tell him I said hi.
I love you both too. Hi guys.
I think that's one of the great things as well with having you on today, is we've had a good number of people that when we put on Twitter and things that we were having you on this week, there were quite a lot of people that were really quite excited by the prospect of having you on. And I mean, it's understandable why, but I think it's a rarity for, I think in the in the streaming community for people to actually get really excited about something as simple as as appearing on a podcast. It's really cool to see that you've clearly had an impact on a lot of people in one way or another.
I had no idea, truthfully. I would think it's more podcast related than me, truthfully.
Oh, it's definitely not podcast related, mate. We're still a very niche thing. It was more interesting in you.
I guess it's flat. I don't know. It's flattering. I try to build relationships with everybody I can, small or big, in the community. So that's kind of cool. I didn't know.
We had quite a good bit of engagement, I think, on the tweet. That original tweet we put out saying that we were having you on. We had a fair few people on there that were quite a few likes on it and things. Like I say, we've had a couple of people in the chat, that have expressed, that they're quite happy to see that you're on this week. So I think it's quite good. Like you said, I think Coach has just summed it up quite nicely there in the chat, saying JR's passion always shows. And I think that's quite accurate. I think your sort of love and passion and knowledge for DayZ in the community does show through quite easily, which I think is nothing but a positive thing.
I'm flattered, honestly.
And you seem to avoid most of the drama as well, mate.
So, oh man, God, yeah. Okay, so there's been lots of drama in DayZ. There was drama with JLK way back when. Sorry, Josh, gonna bring it up, man. I'm not gonna talk into details, but people crucified him immediately. I like to go at things calm and collected before and assess situations before I go into just ripping people a new asshole. Running Man Z leaving Karma Crew. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tons of... Dude, if something's going on in DayZ, and you're live on DayZ, people will come to your chat, oh shit, what do you think about this? And I assess it the way I would in real life. I'm like, hey guys, if you want to talk about it, that's fine. Do it in Discord. We have that available to you. I'm not going to personally talk about it on stream. I might say a comment on it more than once. Or I might say something on it once, but I'm not going to go into detail more than once. I was very vocal about the whole Lottie and Minder thing. I said my opinion on it once, and that's it. I'm done with it, because not only is it going to bring me down, it's going to bring my channel down, it's going to bring the community down, and I just don't want to focus on that. I love Lottie. I think she's a super sweet girl. I love Minder. I play with them all the fucking time. Right? They had their disagreements. That's fine. I spoke vocally about that publicly, and I'm done. I'm done with it. Same with the Running Man and leaving the Karma Crew. Same with all the other drama. You name it. Dude, it comes up so much, honestly. And I think people, they dive into it and they stay focused on it a little bit too much in this community versus just understanding that people are human, that they're going to make mistakes, whether it's intentional or not, what they do. Let them apologize, let this pan over, and move on. Because we got so much other shit to focus on.
For that, mate. I had people turn their back on me for JLK and Milo in particular, because I didn't grab the pitchforks and burn them and all the rest of it, and gave them a chance to explain their side of the perspective. And I still keep in contact with Milo. I send him welfare checks every now and then. The young guy still hasn't made a fucking video, and that worries me. It really worries me why he hasn't come back yet.
So with Milo, I've not talked to Milo personally, so I can't really say, I don't say too much about that. But I've heard extremely negative things when it comes to Milo, and I've also seen some things where he just doesn't care about the comments or the accusations being made towards him. So for me, in my mind, first off, I don't talk to him, so I'm not really going to speak on that. The rest of the people that are involved in the drama I usually know them really well. But I used to play on this server, and I tell you what, I haven't played on this server since I've seen some of the things that I've seen, and it's because I don't want to be somebody else's highlight because they're cheating or they're abusing something. So I just don't play it. I don't, and I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he does or he does not. I'm just saying I don't want that
point of view for one of our topics later on.
Okay, I'm just saying the possibility is enough for me to stay away, and I'm just not going to be involved.
I wouldn't play on him. I wouldn't play on him either until he demonstrates he's changed. But I'm not going to crucify the young guy for a stupid fucking mistake that didn't kill anyone, that didn't fucking.
To your credit as well, like what you're saying, I've watched his videos, and people need to understand that this is entertainment, and it's not always going to be organic. It's going to be scripted. I didn't give a shit if Frankie's videos were acted or scripted. Frankie's videos were fucking good. Entertaining as hell. I could sit there for hours and watch Frankie videos. I don't give a shit if they're fake. They're DayZ and they're amazing, and just enjoy the damn thing. It's like a movie. I don't know. People get their heads wrapped up and stuff and get way too upset about stuff for no reason versus just going with the flow and enjoying things how they are. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, I want to get your opinion as well when it comes to DayZ YouTube videos. It seems to me that we're seeing quite a lot of longer videos now, whereas back in the day you'd get, a DayZ video would be 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes long if you're lucky. But there seems to be, with guys like Running Man's, JLK, great guys like that, seem to be putting out a lot of videos now that are 40, 45, 50, even over an hour. I think JLK's put out a couple of videos that were like an hour and a half long. For a DayZ video, considering what we've sort of come accustomed to over the years of shorter form videos, what's your sort of thoughts and your feelings behind, making a longer DayZ video in that respect?
So if I personally love long DayZ videos, and this is so controversial for DayZ creators and fans alike. I've had people in my chat tell me, like, I'm not going to watch your video if it's 25 minutes long, dude. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. 10 to 15 is my window. If you go beyond that, I'm not even going to bother, right? But I've also had people tell me, like, when I've done that, like, why haven't you created a 30-minute video? Why haven't you done a 45-minute video? I feel like DayZ videos are super important to catch every single bit of information because I put value in the story versus just the PvP part. And I think a lot of the problem with the outside main part of DayZ community is that when they watch DayZ videos, what do you think what they take away from the video is first over everything else? What do you two think?
Say that again, sorry?
So when somebody that's outside of the DayZ community that's watching it all the time watches a DayZ video that's long, what do you think out of the entire video that they take away from that video?
I don't know.
Somebody nailed it in your chat already. It's the first thing.
PvP.
First thing that comes to mind. Yes. So when people outside of DayZ watch DayZ videos, the only thing they take away from the entire video is the action. Whereas the people in the DayZ community know that the most beautiful part about DayZ is the story, the build-up, how we got here. How many wolves did you have to fend off to go to this hospital where you're limping there, and you ran into Dave, who's friendly, who could have killed you, and you and Dave went all the way north, teamed up to Tissy, got healed up, and killed a 5-man squad of bandits who was robbing a guy at the jail. Like, no one cares about that. They just care about the shooting, right? So for me, at least, and I think a lot of people in the community, the most important part is the build-up. So longer videos are so important to DayZ because they show every single side and the possibilities of what could happen versus just the gunfight.
They showed the difference between DayZ and other games. Other games, PUBG is just basically a PvP montage, whereas DayZ can be that, depending on the server you're on. But for the most part, there's more to DayZ than just pure KOS PvP.
Way more to DayZ, man. You know what? And it's taken me years to realize that, truthfully. I think for the first 4 or 5 years of me playing DayZ, all I did was shred people. 0.62 and before, I got so good at those systems, man. There wasn't a time like now. Times have changed. I feel like I'm complete ass at the game. But before those engines, man, I used to just shred squads, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. I used to shred people all the fucking time. But
it's
now,
funny watching people evolve.
Now people are so good at DayZ and the engine and the mechanics of the game. It's unbelievable, dude. I get people doo-doo on me all the time. It's unreal. Like as much map knowledge as I have, I get shit on so much. It's crazy. But no, going back to the question originally, I think longer DayZ videos are way more important than the shorter. Not way more important, but way more entertaining because they can show every aspect and then the good stuff that most people go for, which is the PvP. I like longer DayZ videos. I like the build up. I kick back literally in this chair and put my feet up on those pillows over there to my right, and I watch videos. I watch DayZ videos now. Like I watched JLK's his Mafia one, or his, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was honestly probably the best DayZ video I have ever seen. It was just unbelievable, and that 55 minutes went by so fast. I felt like I was watching a 10-minute video. It was wild, man.
It's amazing how, like you say, how such a good video like that, you know, being as long as it was, nearly an hour long, you know, I think it's amazing how, like you say, time flies when you're having fun. You know, you're sitting and watching a video like that that's just so well made and that tells that extra story that's not just all about the PvP. And before you know it, you've watched the entire video and you're like, well, when's the next? It's amazing how there are content creators in this community that can do that.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think Paul was the first to do like the unedited, like the 6-hour fucking YouTube videos. Let me tell you what, dude. Never in my life, personally, I would never fucking do that. But good on you, man. His video, his unedited adventures get like 200,000 views. Salute to you, sir. I mean, more power to you. I personally would never do that. But to each their own. But I think we've become more. I don't know. Somebody asked me this the other day, and I don't necessarily think people are copying. No, it was Tope that tweeted it out. I don't think people are copying each other. I think it's more inspirational. But I think we started with this whole DayZ movie thing, really, and they're not really. Honestly, they're not really movies at all. They're just longer DayZ videos. I don't know why people are calling them movies. I think that should be something that ceases. I think JLK's video, his hour-long video, was definitely like a movie. I think you could call it a movie, but most of these other videos that are super long really aren't movies. It's just an adventure with all the information, like it should be, truthfully.
Yeah, I think that kind of brings us on to one of our points from our agenda this week. I'm going to skip ahead a few and skip a few at the beginning here because you brought it up there as well. You talk about people sort of claiming that people are copying each other and things like that, but there seems to be a bit at the moment with servers copying other servers as well. So you've got people, and Boydie was the one that put together the weekly show agenda, so I'll kind of fire it over to him to give more context and things with this. But we've got it here. It's even trying to get files from existing or old servers.
This is related to something that happened here in Australia. So you guys both know who Fubar Bundy is. He had his own server there for a while, Fubars, or Scuffed. Ended up going back to Fubars. And I think it went for probably 6 months minimum, probably longer, not sure.
Give or take, yeah.
He decided he was shutting it down for his own reasons. It was just too much, between having a full-time job and you probably all noticed his video up rate really dropped off, and it just wasn't going to be. So understandably, the community was kind of sad and upset about that. But some people decided they were going to try to remake the server and started messaging various admins of that server, including Bundy and Match, his girlfriend, and stuff like that, asking for the actual files from the server, which they didn't want to give up, which is their right to. And it's turned into a bit of a shit fight. And I just thought the whole thing was an interesting topic because their server aside, there's a lot of it out there where people try to copy existing servers. And, there's so many rinse repeat. You look through the community service tab and, 1 gazillion rubles starting money, drugs, PvP, trader, everything like that. It gets a bit, I don't know what the word is. It's people need to look for some originality. Don't just try and copy purely what someone else has done. Try to create your own thing. Make your own mark. Do your own thing that's a bit different. try to fill a gap in the community or something like that. Yeah. I'm interested in what you guys think of it. Especially the reaching out and asking for server files and stuff like that. I was really hoping Ben was going to be here because I was interested to hear his perspective when he shut Blue Waffle down. If anyone tried that with him,
I think it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I can kind of see where the people were coming from because Fubar's server was a lot of fun. I mean, my ping was over 300 on that server because it was hosted in Australia and I live in the UK. My ping was ridiculous, but it didn't sort of have much of an effect on performance for me. I was still crap at the game regardless. So it was one of those where I really enjoyed playing on it, but I can kind of see where people come from because Uncle Ray had a server for a little while. He didn't have any admin powers on it or anything, but it was kind of attached to his name. It was, it was something he wanted to do. And it was an incredible amount of fun.
Just quickly,
and he decided
in chat is one of the admins that they approached. He's just elaborated on it there.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't the copying of the mods. It was more so leeching from the community we build and them taking it for themselves and then marketing the server as their own creation. Yeah, see, that's where it gets a little bit of a piss take. I think if you're gonna try and recreate something that's no longer around, give the credit. But like I said, I can kind of understand where the people trying to do it were coming from because, like I say, Uncle Ray had a server called the Boom Boom Room, and it was just all out mayhem, PvP everywhere. People were beating each other to death with sex toys. It was the most unnecessary thing, and it was so hilarious. And I kind of had that thought once he stopped doing it, once he kind of shut it down. I kind of had the thought that I would love to try and recreate that and do something similar. But I wouldn't even know where to start with that sort of thing.
Now, you said you played it. Did you ever go to the trader at Altar?
Oh, what, on Fubars? Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. I'll get something for you.
Why do I feel like I should be very concerned?
Bada boom, bada bing. Nope, not that one.
Yeah, because my ping was so high on that server, I thought for a laugh one day I'd actually buy a car and try to drive it. And when you're trying to drive a massive supercharged Mustang on a server where you've got 300 ping in a game that's not exactly well known for its fantastically great car mechanics, I think I got about three, maybe 4 meters down the road before I turned back and just gave the key to someone at the trade. I was like, yeah, that's not working for me.
Just shared a screen with you.
Was that tree always there?
Yeah, the tree was there, but the one on the right is the new server. The one on the left is the old server.
See,
I can't see what you're talking about.
I just opened up a screen. You should.
I think you need to change the overlay on your stream, Boydie.
No. I've shared it in Discord with you. Oh, sorry. Yeah. 1 second.
See, they can't see it. That's what I mean.
Boomer.
There's a reason this podcast used to be called the Boomer Zone. See, I don't remember that tree ever being there. You say the one on the left is the one from the original Fubar server.
And then there's
I'm wondering if maybe see, I'm thinking he must have changed a bunch of stuff with the server. Because there was a couple of weeks where I didn't play it towards the end. See, that just looks nice. I like the look of that on the left. Yeah, so someone's definitely tried to literally carbon copy that.
And look, dude, before I go any further, what do you think? What do you think?
Truthfully, if it's not something that's extremely unique, who gives a shit? I'm actually shocked that people are really caring that much about some walls and a trader. Like, honestly, I don't understand why. If anything, I'm be more flattered personally. Again, this takes me back to people are getting too wrapped up in shit that just doesn't matter. That's not that serious. It's a server, man, and if one's not around anymore, then you should be inspired of it and just be happy that someone thought enough of your server to really to try to replicate what you created. If it's not around anymore, I get if something's super unique and I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's extremely unique per server. DayZ Underground really has the most unique server, in my opinion. Truthfully, they seem to have been the ones that have been doing stuff the longest, where it's like unique items and such, and they're still constantly doing stuff. They actually just did. They just posted about something, and I can't remember what it was. They just posted a whole bunch of unique stuff. They do that all the time. I don't know. I feel like I don't really have a good opinion on this because I don't run a server, and I try to stay out of running servers and stay away from that sort of thing. Truthfully,
Rolly's just saying in chat. Imagine someone coming in and poaching your community. They'd tell us you wouldn't be upset. Now, I do understand your point there, Rolly, but at the same time, I do have to agree with Dude on the fact that the server's not there anymore. But I personally think they just handled it wrong, Dude, in that rather than just trying to create their own thing, they tried to cash in a bit, from what I understand, on Fubar's name, and he's not associated with the project, which if you could imagine someone trying to cash in on your name, associating you with something that you're not associated with, or
like I said, I don't really have all the details. I don't really have a good opinion on this. Like the whole server thing, man, I guess there should be like, hey, you should bring this to someone's attention. You definitely shouldn't put somebody's name on something if they're not involved. I don't really know what happened with all of this, but I can't really speak on this, truthfully. I don't really have enough information because I never pay attention to this sort of thing. I just hit play on servers that are available and I run with it.
See, Foxy's just had a good point there as well. When After Dark closed, he reached out to Jad, who was the guy behind that, for some custom scripts, etc. He said no, so that was it. Whereas, from what I understand, and I may be wrong, but I'm going off the information that I've had given to me, is they kept on approaching people, arguing with them. I've even seen some messages where it was basically, but you abandoned us, sort of thing. Kind of guilt tripping them for closing the server a bit, which again I couldn't quite understand that. I definitely, I know why Bundy made this server, because there was a market for it in Australia. We had 1SK and Pipsy, which were both more very high loot PvP focused servers, with a lot of the over the top things that some of the servers have. And he created a server that was meant to fill a more a bit of an old school DayZ sort of feel to it, with still some of the things like traders and all the rest of it, but it wasn't as easy to get the money. And even I managed to have some fun on it, which is, I'm normally hardcore, but it was Bundy, and I love the guy, so I jumped on it and I had a lot of fun on it. But it just seems like it spiraled out of control. They should have just, like with Foxy, taken no for an answer and just gone from there. But it just got quite messy.
So what was the issue is that Bundy started a server and he closed it, and someone tried to take stuff from his server, or he tried to acquire something for someone else. Okay, from his server. They messaged all the different admins and tried to guilt people to giving server files and stuff like that. At the end of the day, no means no, man. It's just consent. I mean, it's just that simple. That's common sense. That's not something that you should learn. If somebody tells you no, it's no. I mean, that's just it. It doesn't matter what it is, regards to server. It's just common sense. No means no. Period.
I like Dump's point there, Brim.
Trying to guilt trip people into giving server files / custom mods, no. But if a server shuts down and the community is left high and dry, why not let others take care of that community? Unless they are being shitty peeps. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a weird one, isn't it? Because at the same time, like you say, Fubar started the server originally because there was a gap in the market in Australia for that type of server, and it was very, very popular for a while there. And then when it shut down, I kind of agree. They could have maybe said, "Look, we're shutting it down. However, you know, we've got a really good community going with this. If anyone else wants to try something like that, we'll see if we can help in some way." But on the flip side, it seems that when it comes to servers, and having been someone that sort of helps out with a server myself, that sense of entitlement that some players, not all players, and thankfully it's a minority of players, but that kind of that sense of entitlement of, look, I'm playing on your server, I've, you know, donated to your server, I've bought something, I've done something, you know, it gives that some people just have that sense of, right, I've done something, I've paid for something, therefore I should be given something else, you know. And people seem to have that sort of sense of entitlement about these things. I think that's where people are going wrong. Rather than saying, look, I know you've shut the server down, can I help? I'd like to try and recreate something similar. Like you say, people have gone in and tried to guilt trip admins and say, you've abandoned us, and, you know, and sort of done that kind of like that Karen thing of, you know, I want to talk to your manager. And it boggles my mind that people can be that clueless and that much of an asshole
and this
about
comes
something
back to
so
what
simple.
Dude was talking about with his community saying to him, you abandoned us.
Yeah. And it's mad that it boggles my mind. I mean, I'm still fairly new to the whole, you know, streaming, DayZ, everything. And it's mad that there are people out there. It boggles my mind there are people out there that will have that sense of entitlement and will kick up a fuss about something that's so simple. And like Dude said, no means no. If an admin said, nah, look, we're not going to send you over files because we don't want to. Simple as that. Take that as an answer. You asked the question, you got the answer. If you didn't like the answer, that's your own problem.
There's a lot of, it seems to, like, just nowadays what I picked up on is there's a lot less work ethic, and I actually tweeted about this just a couple of weeks ago, versus just having the ability and like the willpower to work on something from the ground up. I'm starting now that I'm hearing all the things that are, and I'm reading the chat as they go. Match is, as obviously we know, is Fubar's girlfriend. I love her to death. She does my art for my emails. She's fantastic. I love you. Shout out to her. She does amazing work. Anyway, no, but I'm starting to understand now, and I think people are more reliant on others versus working for something themselves. And I see that a lot in streaming. I see that a lot in everything. So I'm starting to understand now that I have all the facts and the details, and I'm hearing about this more. And again, it just takes me back to no means no. It's just consent. It's common sense. Don't be stupid. If someone tells you no, then guess what? There's plenty of tools and videos out there that you can learn to do this yourself, and maybe you can create something better, more unique, an environment that's completely different from something that they did. Maybe be inspired by it, but go off your own branch on the tree. Go and do something different. You know, that's how greatness is created, because you take something that inspires you and you put your own ideas and spin on it and you run with it, versus just taking something that's already made and making it easy for yourself. You know what they did. You know why it was unique and why you enjoyed it for you. Take that, branch your own imagination to it, and run with it. Go and create something different. Go and create something better, or go and create something similar. That's
what I'm trying to do 100%. On my server. I'm taking inspiration from 3 servers that have greatly influenced me, that I've enjoyed playing on. The first one is DayZ Underground, for all of the reasons you mentioned before. When it comes to servers, they are the pogs. They are the, you know, I know there's been issues in the background and all the rest of it, but what fucking community doesn't have issues? I couldn't care about them. End of the day, they run a fucking first-class operation with their server. The other one is DayZ Down Under, which is just an amazing hardcore server here in Australia, but it wasn't hardcore enough for me. After Dark was hardcore enough for me, but it's shut down, and it was located in the EU. So I'm creating a niche server that will only ever have a very small player base here, but I'm taking inspiration. But the reason it's going so slow is I'm having to learn all this shit myself, and rely on the likes of Dumpgra and the others who are kind enough to help me. I've got Rudy now, who's in the EU and playing on the server, and I'm really enjoying making my own little slice of fucking sadomasochistic heaven, that even Brim seems to be enjoying. just to, yeah.
It's definitely an interesting experience. Like I say, my sort of experience with DayZ has always been that sort of high loot, not always PvP. I quite enjoy a bit of PvE and just dicking about, making a base, growing veg, that sort of thing. But to then go on to a hardcore server and actually survive, it's kind of, there is that real sense of achievement when you do something like that, which I think is brilliant. But like you say, if it's at the point where people are literally trying to make a name from someone else's server, essentially, like they said, did you play on Fubar's server? Well, we're a copy, come and have a look. That's, to me, that's a no. That's, like you say, it's all well and good saying, look, Fubar's server was good, we want to do something similar, leave it at that. You don't need to market it as, we're a carbon copy, come over to us, because like you say, that is just profiting off of someone else's name, essentially. And like you say, like you showed those pictures, Boydie, it was literally a side-by-side comparison of, they literally created everything, down to the exact same positioning of a tree, and the military areas and stuff. You think, nah, just make it yourself. Granted, you can say, yeah, this was inspired by Fubar's server and that's why we did it. But yeah, I think it's a whole different kettle of fish to actually, copy it, carbon copy like that. So we'll go back to what was going to be our first point of the agenda today. DayZ Dreams. What's your weirdest one? I'm gonna throw this to you, Boydie, since you wrote this. I had no idea this was going to be included in the agenda. I'm guessing that you have a reason for putting that as the point.
I had, I'm pretty sure everyone who is a full-on hardcore DayZ fan has had DayZ-related dreams. That combine, it's either pure DayZ or combined DayZ with real life. And I had one the other night, and I woke up and I remembered it, and I was like, I've got to do this as a topic because I want to hear what other people have had. Mine was, I was back in the army. I'd been asked to rejoin the army, and they had me for one reason. They wanted one skill I had, that I was a survival expert. And do you know what my survival expert skill was?
I dread to think.
2 stones.
I was waiting for that.
Making an improvised knife using 2 stones. That was the thing that was mind-blowing to everyone in the Australian Army about survival. Find 2 stones, man, you're fucking set. All you got to do is find those 2 stones. Any server, you're fucking set. And it was just weird. But I know we've all had DayZ Dreams, so I wanted to hear what you guys, what your ones have been.
Oh, I think the only sort of ones I've ever had is when you're sort of out and about on a weekend, you just gone for a long walk or something. I get it every now and then. I'll ride my motorcycle out a few miles down the road to a local nature area and just go for a little walk and take some pictures on my phone and just, be by myself. And every now and then I do get that moment where I look down and think, that's a small stone there. And I look across a reservoir and go, I bet my health would drop if I jumped in there and started trying to swim across. I'd have to, can you imagine me, ugly bastard like me, taking this t-shirt off and having to wring it out? That'd fucking scare the locals. So I get that sort of degree, but back when 0.62 was around, dream that I fell off my doorstep and broke my legs. Yeah. Well, when you're a clumsy twat like me, that's almost a guarantee. So yeah. What about you, dude? Have you ever had any sort of weird DayZ dreams or any DayZ dreams at all?
No, not for years. No, I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. No, really? I haven't had any for a long time. Yeah, but I think your dreams actually awfully they stem to your real life. And remember how I said I was blocking DayZ out completely? I haven't, not for a long time.
I don't think I've ever had a dream to that extent when it comes to DayZ. I've had, I think any of my sort of DayZ dreams have been sort of like remembering something that happened in game. So like I'd maybe like that, I get off of the computer, go to bed, and then I'll dream. I'll go, oh yeah, and it was literally a couple of hours ago I did whatever it was, and I'll remember it in my dream. But it's very rarely to the point where it's like, I'm reliving that as if I was there and as if I was in the game kind of thing. But I do wish you could kind of you could get that.
Joedo, That's a burn. That's a burn and a half.
That's so true. That's so true, man. I
will pay that.
Joe has been one of the most vocal people about this, and I completely agree with her. We definitely meet eye to eye on this. Is that DayZ is just not as good? I'm sorry, since 0.62 has gone away. I still feel the way. I don't care about the engine. I don't know how other people feel about that, but it's just 100% just not as good as, and never will be, as 0.62 was.
I think it kind of, to a degree, boils down to that little bit of nostalgia. Like we've talked about on previous episodes, where the 0.62 era of DayZ was kind of in everyone's minds, kind of that golden era of the game. And to look back on it, you know, I think everybody's got that kind of that nostalgic, you know, good memories of what it was back then. And I think that kind of plays into it to a degree. It's just
I've having played every single patch, and I know a lot of vets like this, like Joanna she's one of them. She's a vet. Having played every single one, nothing is has been quite as magical as 0.62 was. 0.61, 0.62 were the best patches, in my opinion, of the game.
Yeah, see, that was kind of before my time. I sort of really got my PC and started joining the community myself properly after it had already become 1.0. So I've got very few memories, very vague ones of back in those days when I did sort of play on a friend's PC every now and then. But yeah, it's definitely sort of seen as the golden era.
Yeah, Joe's right there though, with the bit of nostalgia kicking in. With the old maps and even broken legs. I've got broken legs on my server. That's not even really just a nostalgia thing. That's just a function that is fucking sorely needed, because DayZ has just descended into nearly every gunfight ends in death. Very rarely does someone get their legs broken. They don't get their legs broken anymore. And more often than not, they end up dead, not uncon. They can't be tied up and revived or anything like that. That's my biggest gripe with DayZ. I think to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of as well, going on that idea, we were talking on a previous episode about Happy Bombs and his servers, that he's been doing, because he does every Thursday, he does like a mini event, which is like a death squad thing. So I'll have him and like maybe 4 other people that will all be, you know, all dress up in a certain way. And the idea is it's an open server. Anyone can go on and try and hunt them down and kill them. And the prize you get, you know, you make points in his Discord. You get points, and at the end of the month, you win a prize. I can't for the love of me remember what it is. But in game, if you successfully kill one of them, they've got their own custom revolvers with the server logo on it, and it says Death Squad on it. It looks really cool. And I actually took part last Thursday, got absolutely destroyed. Him, Gaming Nana, and a couple of others just absolutely obliterated me, and that was my own fault because I thought fuck it and just went head first in. But he had that similar thing where I think they mod the plate carriers. So you'd go on con a little bit more.
Wingnuts is just talking about that. We talked about that a couple of weeks back, that they've got a mod now that increases the uncon chance.
Yeah, because I took part. I got absolutely annihilated, and as soon as I died, I flicked his stream on and then watched the rest of the evening unfold. And he got shot a good couple of times, direct chest hits, and went uncon. And I remember sitting there thinking, "Oh, Boydie would love this," because it was something that's so rare nowadays. Like you say, you don't tend to go uncon unless someone hits you with a sledgehammer or a shovel. Uncon's almost impossible to attain.
Mate, I did a event on DayZ Down Under that was boxing, and the boxers. I remember that. Yeah, and the boxers were fucking killing each other in the fight. Yeah, I know the cold had some impact on it, but for fuck's sakes, there's something really broken with the damage system when people are having fist fights and killing each other with punches.
Yeah, it's a shame as well, because like you say, that being able to go on con, having that moment where you think I might actually survive this, really does add something else to it. It really adds a different sort of feel to the game. It does bring, I say, almost brings back that nostalgia of when you used to go on con just for breathing back in the day.
Yeah, dude, you'd remember back when you'd get shot. Like Foxy's just said there, the best thing was going uncon, waking up with broken legs, trying to kill the person who just downed you. Zombies never used to kill you or went uncon either. But when you got shot and you went black screen, and sometimes it could be 5 to 10 minutes. I think I remember watching a Running Man stream where it was 20 minutes or something he was down for, and he waited. He waited the entire time. Now 20 minutes is a bit extreme, but 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes seems like a decent enough mark for laying there. Just what's going to happen? Are they going to finish me off? Am I going to bleed out? I don't know what's going on. I missed that. You?
Yeah, no. I think DayZ is extremely flawed in its current system, in the fact that 9 times out of 10 when I get killed, it's one of my biggest gripes. I get killed. I get shot. I don't go unconscious.
Yeah.
I do remember Running Man's portion where he stayed uncon for 20 minutes. Man, I used to get shot uncon at Northwest Airfield in the tall grass, and I'd stay uncon for an hour, and I'd fucking get up eventually. I would wait. Way before I was anything, I would wait, and I'd get up, bandage up, and I'd be able to run off, or I'd be robbed. They had taken everything and thought I was dead and moved on. You don't see those things anymore. One of the biggest flaws in this game is it's not that broken legs is not in. That doesn't matter when you die 9 times out of 10 to any round, to one shot. It's atrocious. It's absolutely, in my opinion, unexcusable. DayZ, and that's why DayZ used to be so much more beautiful for 6.2 builds, is because the bleeding animation was ridiculous. It's stupid. It's like Doom graphics just sprouting out of you in all different places. But that was what was amazing about DayZ back then, is you'd shoot a guy 100 times, he'd go unconscious. Dude, he could stay unconscious for a long time before he actually bled out and died. Another thing too, one of my biggest gripes with DayZ is when you shoot, those zombies go for the person you're shooting at. They should be coming to you. And that is nothing is more annoying when you're minding your own business, drinking at a well, somebody shoots a fucking 50 cal at you on a modded server, and all the zombies go after you, not after the guy shooting boomsticks at you. My God, dude, it's just there's just no excuse for it at this point.
Foxy's
I think
just saying there as well, half the time you don't even hear the boom anymore. It's just a little click sound if you're lucky, and you were dead.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yep, yeah, and I think nothing robs DayZ of the experience more than its own damage system. Personally, I think it's a huge flaw that needs to be addressed.
And the good thing with this is the devs do listen to this podcast, so please, guys, whatever you've got at the top of the list, maybe bump this up there, because this is...
So,
if you can fix this, you will fucking make a lot of people happy.
So let me, and since you're saying that, let me say, let me apologize to the dev team, because honestly, openly here, let me do it now, because I have been very unconstructive when I offer my opinion on things, because I am, in fact, DudeIRage. All right, I get angry, but I've changed a lot over the years, and I'm guilty of ripping the dev team apart. I'm 100% guilty of that, but I've tried to be more constructive. So let me offer an open apology to the dev team. I've not been nice. I've not said nice things before, but it's just because of frustration and passion for the game over the years. I want to see it succeed. I want to see it be this beautiful thing that I've known it to be over the last 7 years. And this is definitely something, if you're listening to this now, that we need to address. And it's not just me as a veteran player. It's new players. I can't tell you how many people come into my chat every single day upset and triggered that they got one tapped and there was no interaction. We need to address the damage system, and we also need to address the infected targeting players that are being targeted by other players. 100%, in my honest opinion.
Dumps just said, love how the infected attack while unconned. If you're the one who was shooting, fair enough. That's the risk you take by shooting when there are infected around you. But when you're the person, like Dude is saying, who got shot at, and then the next thing fucking 10 zombies swarm you, no, that's a bit shitty.
Yeah,
it's shit.
It almost seems like the zombies are aggroing on the sound of the round hitting wherever it hits, rather than the sound of where the gun was fired from.
They do actually. And if you shoot, and you, like, I've just picked this up from playing, but like if you shoot and a bullet ricochets, they'll go to where that round bounces off the wall. They'll run exactly to that. And it's we're heading in the right direction. It's cool to see that the zombies are going to do that. But I just feel like if you're being shot at, what is going to happen 9 times out of 10 when you're being shot at? Doesn't matter if it's infected or not. if it's wildlife in the game or not, you're going to draw your attention to where the shot's coming from. You're not going to look at something that's just there where the shot is nowhere near and come to that. That makes no sense to me, personally. I think if it's loud, it's going to draw your attention, and you're going to go to where the loud, like the audio's coming from, not to anything that's just moving or breathing. That makes no sense.
Yeah, especially on modded servers nowadays, where you've got big modded 50 cal, you know, things that will blow a hole in a fucking hole. You know, you got walls are getting knocked down by these things, but zombies don't seem to give a shit. They're like, no, you hit that wall, I'm going to go and have a look at that wall. So it's a really weird sort of system they've got, and like you say, I think it definitely needs looking at.
I agree completely.
But along the lines of pretty cool things when it comes to DayZ, we do actually have, there was a thing put out October 13th, so it was only a few days ago, and it was a little 2-minute video. It's a prologue for an upcoming DayZ inspired film series. Now, if I can figure out how to share my screen to Discord, you can all watch with me.
I'm just going to put it in chat for them as well. In case there's anyone who's missed it. I doubt there's anyone who's missed it, but
it's something I've wanted to see for so long.
Well, there's been ones before.
You should see if you can find the original version. Is it only posted, or is it on YouTube as well? Because it's going to be terrible quality on Discord.
It does say prologue can now be watched on YouTube. So I'll tell you what. I'll see if I can spot, because they haven't included it in the link for the actual video.
I got it. Here, I'm going to put it in Discord.
Ah, beautiful.
Actually, I'll DM it to you because I don't know where to post it.
Just post it in the guest bio channel.
Yeah, post it anywhere it'll fit.
Deone's got it. Deone's got it. It's in chat.
Oh, well, there you go. We'll grab that up then. Can everyone see that that's showing up as it should?
Can't hear it though.
I can hear it. Full screen? Can you go full screen? Brim?
There we go. I love how they use the actual gun sounds from the game as well.
Yeah. Nah, he's dead. One tap from Mosen.
Survivors held up in a warehouse. Overrun the city.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? We need help.
I'm looking forward
It's
to it.
definitely a hell of a thing, isn't it? I love how accurate parts of that are as well. Like finding that, finding the gas mask laying there, things even down to like the way he's limping throughout that is very, very similar to the way you actually limp in DayZ when you're at red health. But I know that I did see a few comments on Twitter that made me it made me laugh quite a lot, because you had one comment, I think it was Pathfinder Plays, that commented saying, you know, it was all well and good, but why wasn't that car flying?
Yeah.
And things like that, you know. And someone else was like, well, he's holding the axe wrong. And I thought, for fuck's sake, just enjoy it. It's such a good thing. And considering that was only 2 minutes long as well, going back to what we were saying earlier about the length of videos, it almost seems like that was enough. You kind of want to watch the rest. You want to see more of it. And whilst I don't tend to watch YouTube videos for DayZ that are, you know, an hour and a half long, I genuinely would watch that because it's live action. It's something I've wanted to see for DayZ, like a decent, really good live action version of DayZ for years. And I think we actually might finally be getting exactly that.
There was one that released years ago. I'd have to see if I can find it. But they made it like a movie series, and I think it was like 5, maybe 4, maybe between 4 and 6 episodes long. And it was very, 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 very well done. This is before 0.63. I'd have to see if I can find it again. But yeah, it was really well done. It was also on YouTube.
It's something that I think we've been missing. It almost seems like, why have we been missing that? It seems like something so simple.
Is that the Tom Story one, dude?
I'm looking for it now. I can't remember. It was either done by a group of Canadian filmmakers, like students, or American student filmmakers. I can't remember exactly. I'm looking at it now. Now the problem is that I'm typing in DayZ movie, and DayZ videos are coming up that people have labeled movies.
Type in DayZ real life.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find it while we're chit-chatting here.
I think the most inaccurate moment, though, of watching that is towards the end there, where he got the radio out and he says, you get over the radio, oh, we're holed up in a warehouse. He hears a gunshot and stands up. If that's me, I'm straight going prone. I am straight dropping.
And Brim, it was the dev team that commented on the video asking how they kept the car on the ground as well, which was kind of good to see.
Yeah. Yeah, a few people did. Like say Pathfinder, why did that truck not fly in the sky like real DayZ? #disappointed. Looks cool though, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Another one there from Accursed, whoever that may be. Unrealistic. The car didn't spiral out of control and wind up in the 8th dimension. It's funny. It's accurate. But
I don't mind stuff like that. Yeah, the dev team are pretty cool these days, and you got to call a spade a spade. DayZ's got its features.
Yeah. Brother needs some codeine in his life. He needs a morphine and an epinephrine shot. The fireman looked legit. Blue Mountain backpack looks legit as well. So yeah, I mean, they did get the sort of the outfit and what have you. They did get that really good. I was quite impressed with that.
Do you have any luck, dude?
No, I'm still looking for it. I'll pop it up in the chat at some point if I find it, or I'll give it to you and you can talk about it in another podcast or something.
Yeah, it's such a good little video, like you say, for the length of time it is, just gives enough to make you want to come back and see, you know, something else. I think is really good.
I have some ideas for something. You'll see. Boydie, you'll see. I'll post it somewhere. You'll see. I've got something coming that I think you'll quite enjoy at some point.
Another exclusive for the podcast.
Yeah, this is the first time I've mentioned it other than closed doors between myself and a few other creators, but you'll see it when it comes.
Nice.
I'm still looking for it. You can continue on by all means. I'm still looking for the movie.
Well, we'll quickly jump into the next topic then while we're here, which is actually a topic for a tweet that Boydie himself shared. I shall bring this one up because this one's bound to create at least some controversy somewhere down the lines. But our friend Boydie here tweeted out on October 14th, I wonder how many server owners that are monetized and Twitch streamers / partnered YouTubers have actually donated to the modders behind some of the awesome mods that are making DayZ on PC so epic these days. Hands up if you have, folks.
And the amount of hands up were fucking minimal.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So to that point, like I didn't see that tweet, truthfully. But this goes back to what we were saying earlier. Give credit where it's due. Ask for permission on things, right? So one of the biggest modders in the DayZ community is Mass. If you don't know who Mass is, then I don't know. Maybe you're just not paying attention. But Mass Ponage, he's one of the biggest contributors to modding scene. Like 9 times out of 10, if you're playing a modded server and you've got something on you or in your hands, Mass has made it. He's supported my stream for a long time. He comes by my chat all the time, and he's told me how much time he's put into things and how much money he makes. He makes essentially nothing. He does private or like for individual servers, he'll take requests and he'll give them a fee. But he even then charges way less than he should. And I've actually not yelled at him, but like Dad, like you should be making money for these things. There's absolutely no reason that you're not taking like some sort of funding to do what you do. Like the man works a full-time job and he takes commissions sometimes completely for free and spends weeks, if not months, on certain projects, getting them done, trying to get them just right, and then giving them the service for free. He absolutely takes no money. I actually offered him money for things, and he told me absolutely not.
He did
absolutely not. I want to take.
He did the same to me. I've been asking him to do something. I love his gun rack, his custom, very rustic-looking gun rack that he has in his mod, because I think it just fits the feel of DayZ and my server better. And I've asked him to do more. Because at the moment, I think he's only got 2 storage items, and that's the gun rack and the chest of drawers you can make. And I've said, yeah, I'd like to see more. These things that look like they're straight out of an IKEA flat pack don't fit DayZ. And I offered to pay him, and he said no. And I'm like, dude, fucking just let me, you're going to spend time, and I'll work something out with him somehow. But yeah, there's ones out there who won't, like Dump. I've offered to give Dump money. He's finally given me a way that I can. I've got to buy another skin retexture through the guy he uses. But there's people out there who want to support. But what worries me, dude, is there's people out there who aren't, and that's sad. That really makes me sad. That really makes me fucking sad that they just. I think Dump. Who and I were having a conversation, and there's people who are just taking from the community for their own benefit and not giving back, and that really makes me fucking not just sad but also a bit angry.
You also have to remember too that a big portion of the DayZ community is extremely casual as well. They just get on when they have time and play. So I think it's and you also have to understand too that people choose to do these moddings on their own to make the game better on their own record, and they don't want any money. They don't want recognition.
And
maybe their stamp.
They don't. But there are.
And they don't.
There are ones, and it's kind of like me with my server. I've got to link up if people want to, but at the end of the day, it's my server, and I fund it. But I just allow people the option to donate towards it if they can. And if people can't afford it, I'm not calling you a cheap cunt or nothing like that. But more, as this one was aimed at, was the partnered people, the Twitch streamers who are making full-time livings from it. Are they sparing a bit to help the people? Because there's a lot of them out there who are struggling. Look at Daone. He's a fucking uni student. And he's making great mods like Vanilla++. And he's got a donation link. But, I don't know whether he'll say it in chat, but how much have you received, Daone? Probably fuck all from people donating towards it. Namol Survivor, bloody Adam, he's got a donation link on his website. How many people have donated towards Demolsk? Probably fuck all.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got my PC and first got into the community, I literally typed in on the DayZ standalone launcher PVE and joined the first PVE server that showed up that sort of caught my eye, and I ended up bumping into and playing with a guy who he goes by Mr. Dutch. A few people, I think he's popped into the chat here before.
Yeah,
he works a lot with the Blue Waffle guys, so Ben will know him because he's done a shit ton of stuff for the Blue Waffle servers. And I just put out a tweet one day saying, I'm looking for my own custom logo to be done, because I was just about to start getting into the streaming side of things. Now I have my setup ready to go. And I messaged back and forth with Mr. Dutch. Said, I can do that for you. Sorted out a few bits, showed me a few things, said, what's your input? Would you like me to change anything, sort of thing? And when we agreed on a finalized product, I was like, mate, that's fucking awesome. Send me a link to your PayPal. Let me know how much you want me to pay for this. Like, I've got you this, I'm definitely wanting that. And he literally replied to me he sent me all the stuff and he said, don't worry about it, mate. If you really want to do it, if you really want to spend some money, just donate to the server that we both play on. He said, whatever money you were going to think of spending on me, don't worry about it. Just spend it on the server, because we all spend a shit ton of time in there. Go for that. And so that's what I did. I donated to the server. Unfortunately, that server's no longer around. But it's guys like that, like you say, that don't want to take that money, that don't want to take that recognition, that are just doing it for the love of it. But there are so few people that would be willing to donate to these things, to donate to modders, to servers and things. And like you say, the amount of people that sort of commented back on that tweet, that you put up saying, I've done that, I've given a little bit of money, it is a lot lower than I was expecting.
But look at the amount of shit Expansion Mod had over the fact that they've had $4,000 to $5,000 in donations, and people were like, "Well, what are they fucking complaining about? $4,000 to $5,000 is fuck all when you divide it between a team of people, and they probably had to pay for a lot of shit along the way, models and stuff like that. So it makes me laugh. People, they don't bat an eyelid about chucking $100 at their favourite streamer, but when it comes to the modders, it's almost like there's this expectation that, and yes, there are great people out there who do it out of the goodness of their heart, but there's nothing wrong with them making a few quid, and people should be encouraged to donate not just to their favourite content creators, but also to the modders who are working behind the scenes, making these fucking amazing mods that are keeping DayZ. Look, let's face it, if it wasn't for the great mods we've got right now, DayZ wouldn't have the numbers it's got. End of the day. So people need to take the time when you're looking at your server list of mods. Go and check out those mods and see if there's a PayPal link there to support the person working behind it. Because otherwise, you end up with these modders who get burnt out and real life gets in the way. And if we could get some good professional modders working on good systems, like I really love the Battle Royale now, has got the monetized skins. I went and bought one straight away the minute I found out about it. I got myself a custom logo shirt in there, and I've spoken to him about getting a DayZ podcast shirt added to it as well. A bit of marketing, but also it helps support keeping that great mod alive. The same with Vanilla Plus Deathmatch.
It's such a simple thing, and more often than not as well, it's it's such a small amount of money. Like you say, buying like a skin in a game, regardless of what game it is, 9 times out of 10 it's pretty cheap. Like it's probably one skin, one t-shirt with a logo on it. It's probably the same amount as you would spend on something so small. It's something that maybe would cost what you would earn in an hour of working at your day job, so
good one, Rudy. Now Daone's working out how he can collect our fucking user data playing on Vanilla Plus Deathmatch service so he can sell it.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he already has. If anyone can, it's going to be Daone, let's be honest. All right, let's just see if we can definitely get Discord to keep working the way we need it to. We'll move on to the next subject. Anarchy HD has reached 100,000 subs on YouTube, which is pretty cool. He's been pretty much grinding it out for the last however many years. Now, a lot of people will in the chat will probably know, but is it still when you hit 100,000, that's where you get your first YouTube play button?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's correct.
That's pretty cool. I know they've sort of changed it a little bit over the years. Is it 100,000, 1 million, and then 10 million? I think
and you don't get it.
You've
got to buy
diamond.
You've got to apply
for it. Have you got to buy it, have you?
You've got to apply for it. They don't just give it to everyone. So if you're a channel that doesn't fit their ethos, they won't give you one. I've seen people posting up that they don't get it, but then, yeah, you get to apply for it, and if they approve it, then you can pay for it, and they'll send you one in the mail and a little certificate to go with it, and yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, it's really cool because I see he does get quite decent numbers on each of his videos as well, and to see that there is someone in such a small community, I can't help but sort of look at the DayZ community as an outlier, as such a small community, and to still see someone actually reaching the idea that you get 100,000 subscribers on a channel that is purely dedicated to DayZ, which still to me seems like such a small and niche community. It is really cool. It is really cool to see someone actually hitting a decent milestone like that.
Yeah, it's nothing but beneficial to us, anybody that's a DayZ fan, for somebody to create DayZ content and get that many subs. So
yep,
congrats to him for sure.
More eyes on the game, and the more different content creators are, the more different ways to play the game people are seeing.
Yeah, and the thing I love as well is it's carefully curated as well. So like you get now we know we've got guys like Summit and Shroud that have sort of built their careers to humongous heights and come back to the community, but this is all completely DayZ community driven. So this is all literally started from absolutely nothing, DayZ and DayZ only, and grew it as he goes along. There was no, going off and becoming Shroud or Summit and then coming back later on and making a little extra. This is all completely from the ground up, hard work, dedication. So, I think it's definitely what I think a lot of people do have sort of differing opinions on the guy. I personally think he's a fantastic guy. Especially I love his Twitter feed because he posts when people like bitch and moan about being banned on his servers and things like that, and like the stupid things people come up with for reasons like, oh, why did I get banned? You were caught hacking. Yeah, but that shouldn't mean I get a ban. No, yeah, it definitely does. Like the amount of people that just love to bitch and moan and how he responds.
I'm not 100% sold on that because I've been a bit of a drama queen myself, but it just seems to me that that's creating a bit of negativity. That what you surround yourself is what you'll get back at you. That's why I'm trying to be a lot more positive lately. So hopefully that brings more positivity back at me. So I'm not 100% sold on the stuff like that. I know that there's a market for it, and yeah, but that's not 100% my thing.
No, but I mean, like I say, it's either way. It's pretty cool that someone can go and build something like that from the ground up. I mean, 100,000. It's in comparison. So when you look at it in the scope of YouTube, isn't a huge number. It's a big number in its own right. But when it comes to YouTube videos, you've got so many YouTubers with out there that aren't in the DayZ community that have got millions of subscribers for something as simple as picking their nose and fucking flicking it at a wall. Yeah. You can guarantee that there's so much shite out there, but to see someone literally dedicate themselves 100% to something like this, something such a small thing as DayZ, and make it to a milestone like that is pretty cool. It is pretty cool to see. It kind of makes you kind of want to strive for it yourself. It kind of makes you want to. You look at it and you can't help but get slightly inspired to to actually try something out myself.
Like I said, man, just a little bit of work. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
Definitely. So let's have a look on the old agenda. Server squad, we've done that one, so we'll skip ahead. Now this one's going to be, I think, a little bit of a polarizing topic to talk about. Someone that we've spoken about before, but Frankie on PC, talking about almost ready to stream, but won't be on DayZ standalone. Will this hurt standalone? So I think, like Dude said earlier, Frankie's videos, doesn't matter whether they're scripted, whether they were, whatever it was, they're fantastic videos. They were absolutely brilliant. Love a good Frankie video. It's a bit of a weird one. I'd love to get a chance to speak to the guy and get his idea. I know Ben had a chat with him when he did come back on to standalone just to check it out. So I know Ben showed him around on the Blue Waffle servers. But I'd be very interested to know why. What is it exactly about DayZ that makes him not want to come back to DayZ itself standalone as we know it now? Because I think he's doing like an Armor 3 DayZ type thing, which I've not looked into. So I don't know what that even looks like or anything. I'm assuming that's a reference. There's another DayZ mod, but for Armor 3 this time. But I can't understand. Because I'm not him, I can't understand why he's not doing it. But I think it is still pretty cool that he's coming back to some degree. I think he's going to have a lot of people very excited to know that he's coming back in some form or fashion.
Oh, there's not much time in my life of streaming where I'm not hearing about Frankie or someone, how they were inspired by Frankie or how they can't wait for him to come back. I get asked periodically, are you excited for him to come back? I don't think him coming back is going to negatively affect DayZ. If anything, I think it's going to give DayZ more attention. Even if he's not playing DayZ, people are going to be in DayZ chats wondering, or, streamers with bigger numbers on DayZ section asking, do you know if Frankie's coming back? Did you know he's back? Do you think he's going to be playing DayZ? Dude, you get that all the time. I don't think it's going to hurt DayZ in anything. If anything, I think it's going to help. As far as him not playing DayZ, doesn't surprise me. The last time he was super popular in the DayZ scene, he was attacked for scripting content, and which is whatever. Like I said, I don't care. I think his videos are fantastic. And he was also in a really messy time in his life. He had a lot of stuff going on, which is why he stepped away in the first place. So maybe stepping away from DayZ standalone is going to be something that he needs to do for his mental health and to continue to come back and create things like he did before in the same fashion. So I don't know. I'm not Frankie, so I can't speak for him. You know what I mean? And I've tried not to pay attention to that too much, to be honest with you, because people have been saying he's coming back for years, including himself, and he's still not been back. So whenever he posts something and he comes back consistently, then I'll pay a little bit more attention to it. But for the moment,
the real
it's
hero,
all hearsay at this point.
The real hero when it comes to Frankie is Sada. He is
Sada. Yeah, Frankie.
The best friend ever, because I don't know if I could have stayed friends with someone who every time I turned my camera on and streamed, everyone said, "Where's Frankie? Where's Frankie? Why aren't you playing with Frankie? Frankie's better than you." I would have lost my fucking shit with people. I would have fucking quit.
I already have, and I'm not Sada. I'm not him, and I've lost my fucking mind. The amount of times I've jumped in and someone's like, "Oh, where's Frankie?" And I sit there as a viewer going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, leave the man alone."
Yeah.
Like you can't help but feel sorry for Sada. It would be awesome to get his side of the story, but at the same time, you think, why?
Okay. There we go. Wingnuts has done it. We need to start this as a campaign. Frankie said he's going to be streaming. The first time Frankie streams, we all need to bombard the fucking chat with "Where's Sada? Where's Sada? When's Sada coming back? Where's Sada?"
Well, that's going to really shoot us in the foot when he comes back to stream and he's got Sada with him for that first stream. We can only hope that that's not going to happen. Let's hope he does a solo stream for his first one so he can interact with his community uninterrupted, and we all have to go in there and give that. That's got to be done. But I can't help but think, like, Frankie, fair dues to him, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he a lawyer by trade?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he literally, and from what I've heard, like I say, I don't know the guy personally, but from what I've heard, relatively successful, and it's a lot of work to get to that level. I mean, to get to the point where you can actually become a practicing lawyer take, no matter what country you live in, is a hell of a thing. You know, that's not a simple 5-minute fill in a questionnaire, you know, and your first paycheck's in your bank on Friday. That's a lot. And to leave something like that, I mean, that is a relatively, I mean, there's idiots out there everywhere. So lawyers have got their fucking hands full everywhere now. And the thought that he is giving up something like that to come back to content creation, whether it's DayZ or otherwise, like that the fact that he's doing that gives me anxiety. I'm not even involved in that. I'm not doing that. I'm not a fucking lawyer. I couldn't even imagine leaving something like that to come to do something so uncertain as content creation full time. That boggles my mind that that takes a lot of bollocks to be able to just go, do you know what? I'm not going to lawyer anymore. I'm going to make videos for YouTube. Like,
I did have to laugh.
That's something.
When he said, you know, where is it in there? Something about a couple of thousand views, or he's not sure how many people are going to watch him. And I was like, oh Frankie. It's funny that someone of your size has those nerves, but if there's not 1 million views on that in the first week, I'll fucking be very surprised.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see the numbers when he releases that video. I'm going to give it 24 hours, and then I'm going to go onto his channel and sort by most popular and see how that ranks in his list, because he's got some videos on his channel that are still to this day like 5 million, 6 million views. You know, so I mean, granted, that's over the period of many years, but it's going to be interesting to see how his newest videos, sort of come through. That's got to take a lot to make that decision in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at the end of the day, it's where your heart falls. Where's your passion at? You know, you can have an ability and the know-how to do multiple things in your life, but you don't necessarily have to do one thing that you're better at. As long as you're finding enjoyment and love and passion for something that you're doing every day, then that's what you're going to pursue. And obviously we know that Frankie's very, very good at video creation, and obviously he takes his time and is passionate about it. So but it's good to have a trade as well.
It'll be interesting
What's that?
To see how Gary's saying it there in chat. It'll be interesting to see how Frankie goes streaming. That'll be very interesting to see. Yeah,
because he never streamed before, did he? It was always only YouTube.
Just YouTube.
So it'd be interesting as well, because he never, as far as I'm aware, he never did a YouTube video with his face in it either, did he? So it'd be interesting to see if he is going to come to streaming. Is he going to have a face cam?
I doubt it.
Because, I mean, I think we'd all get to that point where if we bumped into him in game, we'd recognize his voice. I think that's why, I think that might be one of the reasons why he kind of had to kind of take a step back originally, because he was putting out a lot of videos where a lot of people were very quickly realizing it was him just from his voice, because he was so popular and gets so many views in game. He just couldn't hide. So it'd be very interesting to see if he keeps that going of not kind of putting his face out there.
He is partnered.
Like you said, is he?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
The channel out. I wasn't happy with one thing on there about the only tier 2 and 3 subs will get a shout out on the stream, and it was like,
I saw that. Yeah,
when people do that.
Yeah. I think if anyone's willing to give me any level of money, you know, it could be something as small as $1. I'm gonna say thank you. You know, I don't care whether you're a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whether you donate, drop bits, whatever it is. I think you've got to show that gratitude. But I can kind of see from his perspective, at least at the beginning when he does first come back, why he might make that choice. Because I can only imagine when he first comes back and he first starts streaming, he's going to be fucking busy with his chat. There's going to be a lot of people. So I don't think he's going to be able necessarily to keep up with everything that's going to be going on.
Yeah,
I know he's a lot more than
all on or roll off. Go one way or the other. Don't make it a monetary level. that's worthy of your recognition as opposed to, yeah.
Yeah, I think the way it's come across may not be, ideal, so to speak. But yeah, I can tell he's going to be a very, very busy guy when it comes to that first stream. And especially if I think there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to know that it's his first stream back as well. So I think you're going to get a few people that have maybe missed the first couple of streams and then see something about it on Twitter or hear about it from someone and then join in. So I think his first sort of, his first handful of streams might start off a bit slow in places. But I can only imagine he's going to have to put on slow mode or put on like subscriber only chat or something at some point, because that's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah, I can imagine that's probably why he did that. He's going to have a lot of activity, so I can understand that, truthfully, but at the same time, it's like I watch Summit's one of my all-time favorite broadcasters, and I watch him call out every single person, regardless of tier and every donation. So, but I mean, well, it'll be different for when he comes back. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of streaming, how did you go after the hot chip the other day?
Oh, I'm good. I mean, I had my porcelain visit this morning, and it wasn't good, but I'm good now. I mean, it was. Oh my god, those chips were so hot, dude.
What was that for? Hitting 400 subs?
Yeah, I was hitting 400 subs again for sure. Yeah.
See, I love the idea of doing a challenge or doing something like that for reaching a milestone, but I don't know if I would be brave enough to do something like that.
So I tried it in 2017 when we hit, I think it was 100 subscribers for the first time when I was an affiliate. And I didn't do it. I didn't finish it. It was as awful as I remember it being. So I've been pretty dead set about completing it because I'm super tenacious. Like I just want to. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. Damn it, against all odds. So, and I'm going to do it again if we can hit 500. We'll see.
Oh, see, I love a bit of hot sauce every now and then, but I'm your typical British person. I've got such a fucking bland palate. Like a bowl of Cocoa Pops is exotic to me. So, like, you know what I mean? We're not known over here in this country for having the greatest palates going. But I've recently bought some local hot sauces that I don't think you can necessarily call them hot sauces. They're not particularly hot, but they're hotter than I'm used to. And that's enough for me for now. I can't imagine doing an actual challenge and having things like that. That would kill me.
Saying British have a bland palate.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Foxy's palate was fucking broken at one point, wasn't it? So thankfully, that's an end to that now. But yeah, thankfully he's back to himself. But
he said he still doesn't have his taste back fully. Really?
That's the thing with it, isn't it?
That's bad being a chef, though.
I could see as a bona fide fat bastard, I cannot, in my wildest dreams, imagine not having a sense of taste. Like that genuinely scares me. I love food, hence why I've got such a full and voluptuous figure nowadays. Yeah, I couldn't imagine not having a sense of taste or a sense of smell. Like you say, especially being a chef as well, that would be that would be horrid. Although I will say, credit to Foxy, some of those photos he put up on Twitter the other day of some of the food that his restaurant does, I could feel the diabetes flowing through me, and I was willing to risk it. That I had just finished eating when I saw those photos, and suddenly my stomach rumbled and I was hungry again. I was
Mate, you live in the fucking UK. Where he cooks must be just down the road from you.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I've done 1,000-mile round trip this week. I'm not fucking doing that again. I think where Foxy lives, probably about maybe a 4 or 5 hour drive, maybe, which is completely fucked for me because I don't drive, so I'd have to get a. I think I would have to try and either get a flight or something like that. I don't think I could make a drive up that way. But yeah, we are a relatively small little island of idiots over here, and yeah, judging by some of those photos that he put up, I'd be willing to make that journey for some of that. I nearly messaged him and tried to see if I could work out a delivery deal, but I can only imagine, like, you try and order from something like Just Eat or some other sort of food delivery service over here, you're paying, give or take, about £5 for delivery, and that's just for something that's in your hometown. I can't imagine something that's as far away as he is. I'd have to remortgage my house just for a delivery of some chicken or something. It'd be mad. Right, let's see what we got. Next one, new Twitter channel to follow.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Out of Context DAYZ. Definitely one to check out. The amount of memes.
Oh, shit. He's fucking cheeky bugger.
I noticed he hasn't been in the chat to let us know he was doing that. The drama podcast is so scarily accurate.
That's I'm gonna make my exit now, boys. I'll see you later.
It's so scarily accurate. But yeah, this channel it's come out of nowhere as well. It's like really come out of left field as well.
I love it though.
I just remember waking up one day and I'm like, oh, I've got a notification on Twitter. Out of Context DAYZ has followed me. I wonder who this account is. What is this about? Let's have a little look. And I must have sat there for about an hour scrolling through, just laughing at some of the memes.
But the thing I like the most is he gives credit as well. When he finds them on Reddit and stuff like that, he credits whoever created the original image. So again, major respect for that. He's not claiming shit as his own. He's giving credit where credit is due. I like that.
Yeah. That one is just scarily accurate for me.
That's the funniest one I think I've seen.
Yeah.
I sat there and laughed for a good 5 minutes on that one.
It's so accurate.
Tim has lost his shit.
Tim has hypothermia.
That is DAYZ in a nutshell. Holy shit.
Definitely give this guy a follow. I'm loving his stuff. And you've got DAYZ Daily Press doing his newsletter now, which, have you seen that, dude?
DAYZ Daily Press. I've seen that Twitter account. No, I don't know what.
You need to follow it, mate. He does a DAYZ newsletter. I know it's old school, but it's a fucking newsletter about DAYZ, and he does random stuff in there. I think he's done one about me with the podcast. He did one about Dumpgra's New Dawn DAYZ server. He put a tweet out asking people to give him stories. He puts a crossword in there, a DAYZ related crossword. Just nice stuff. Really fucking nice stuff. And he lives in outback Queensland as well. I like that one. Shit. Here we go again. Should have got you to say that, dude.
Yeah, that's perfect. Literally, I saw that was one that made me laugh too. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go look at his Twitter.
The Base Building Plus one. As someone who hasn't used Base Building Plus in a couple of years, but has played on servers that use it, this may be the most accurate and relatable tweet about DAYZ that's ever existed. The thing is, it looks like that's not even photoshopped either. Like that is legitimately got to be a building somewhere. I would love to.
Like you say, he's living in there.
No, I mean he's put the credit there as well as someone's Reddit account there. So, like you say, fair dues. He's given credit where it's due, but
smash.
Yeah,
I've seen that base near VMC. Looks like a base on a rock I know at DudeIRage.
What? I'm sorry, I was looking at the memes. What was that? I missed that.
Foxy said, "Looks like a base on a rock I know at DudeIRage."
Yeah, that's Dwayne, myself, Sour Sweet and Sill, and Smith. We made a base on a rock and we called it Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I like that how someone's like used like a Snapchat filter on an up close of a zombie. There's so many different ones nowadays. This one is accurate. Hard to swallow pills. You will lose your gear someday. That gear fear is too real.
I just like it. So, yeah, he's doing good stuff. It's all fun. It's all good natured. gunfights in DayZ.
Yeah,
I haven't even scrolled back and
even
looked
now.
through them all. But it's a good one to have in your Twitter feed because there's so much negativity. It's nice to have something like this that just gives you a chuckle.
It's just good, solid, wholesome shits and giggles. That's all you need in life, isn't it?
Yeah. This is good. This is good stuff.
I didn't even realize that you could put a banana on the end of a wooden stick.
Oh,
yeah,
I do.
I think this one's made me learn something.
FT, Super FT lol, always liked to have a banana on him. And there's a really, really good clip I used in one of the DayZ Plays videos of a deer that's glitched out or something, or a goat. And FT has his banana in his hand and he's trying to shove it into the arse of the deer or the goat or something. And a random stranger comes up and catches him. And it's the most awkward fucking encounter. FT, if you've ever heard FT, he's got a great voice for listening to when he streams. And he's like, excuse me, you didn't see nothing. No, I don't think I did see anything. I like that one. I got killed once. So now I KOS. Trust issues.
It's so scarily accurate. There are so many memes on here that are just so accurate. That one I love.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm friendly. It's just a bear trying to chew on him.
And then time out.
So
that,
many.
That was a good
memes.
clip. The one of the watch this clip here of the Arda. Never fucking does it for me when I play DayZ, but yeah. A perfect fucking 360.
Oh, I don't know. Whenever I drive, my cars tend to do 360s. Just definitely not that fucking smooth.
Yeah. But no, definitely give this guy a follow. At No Context DayZ. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And that's something I would love to see again. Some loot explosions.
Yeah.
I miss those old days. Just random loot just everywhere.
Thing is, though, fucking 90% of servers are like that at the moment. 100 times loot, 10 times loot, 20 times loot.
Those are the servers I like to go on when I'm in an arsehole mood and I just want to fucking run around and be a dick. Those are the ones where I'll go onto those servers because I know I can get a shit ton of loot really quickly and just be an annoying asshole. It's like my default setting.
Thank you, dude. Link in the channel in the chat there.
Happy days. So we got now a couple of things coming up on the agenda now. The next 2 points are going to be a bit of contention, I think, going on. So we've got alt accounts and DayZ thoughts. So I'll throw this one over to you, dude, as the guest here. What's your sort of opinion theoretically on people having alt accounts on DayZ?
Doesn't bother me at all. Could care less. More power to you. It's only when you're using alt accounts maliciously that it's a problem. It's more of a problem on public servers than it is most private servers. Most people have common sense on private servers. I like to think they know better. It's not meta, but it's in sort of a way of meta for you to have two characters at Northwest Airfield, and you know that you're going to go up there on one, you die on one, and then spawn in the other. That's in my eyes, that would be a bannable thing. But for the most part, people, to my knowledge, aren't really malicious on that. Wicked is a perfect example. Wicked has multiple DayZ accounts, and the guy's not doing it to be malicious. It's just he's got characters in different places to start, so that when he plays with us, he doesn't have to sit there and kill himself 20 times to get a spawn to get close. He's got a character somewhere he can wait that's got priority queue, which the guy pays for, and he spawns in so he can be closer to us. I mean, in my eyes, it's whatever. I can see how people would be malicious with it, but I haven't seen that in a really long time, truthfully.
See, do you do base building?
Occasionally, I did a big base on what's his name's server. Oh, for fuck's sake, American player. What's his name? I can't. He does YouTube videos. Devil Dog. Devil Dog had a server. Devil Dog had a server, first-person server. Built a really big base on that server a long time ago, and it got raided almost immediately. I posted a clip on his Discord, and it went viral of something that was really funny that happened, and we got raided after that. We didn't build anymore, but I did recently build a base with Mundar. Mr. Minder and I have built a base on another server. And Project Red Tie has become involved. Taupe has become involved, but I'm not really like super extensive on my own, truthfully.
See, Purple Manatee in chat there. We have had to regulate old accounts on our server because some people are shitty about them, which ruins it for the honest players. One of the biggest issues is now, full disclosure, I did a video fucking years ago called Why Lone Wolves Need a Second Account. And I thought I was so fucking clever that, you know, I did exactly what you talked about, dude. On the Pipsy servers back in the day, I would get 2 characters geared up during the day and have them ready for the weekend and go PvP at the Northwest Airfield like everyone else. And when someone died, I'd switch DayZ accounts, jump into my other one and get straight back into the gunfight. Then people shot me down and explained that basically you're almost effectively ghosting because they've got no knowledge of this other character having been there and you're coming in with it. So there's that side to it. But the other side to it is one of the things that I hate is to do with bases. And people will get their alt account, bring it to the base, and all their raid tools, all their top tier guns, all go onto their alt account and then they log off. So when they get raided, yeah, they're going to lose gear, but the best gear, there's no chance anyone can ever get that off of you because you're locking it away into fucking, you know, little jiggly bits of memory that it's just items that aren't going to be there. There's ways that people are abusing alt accounts on servers outside of even those two things.
I think the perfect example of using an alt account correctly is what Dumpgrowl was saying a few weeks back when we had him on the podcast. Because he runs a server, he has 2 accounts. He has his admin account, which he uses for admin related things that he needs to do on the server. But then when he actually wants to go on and play normally like a regular person, as we all do, he switches accounts to an account that doesn't have admin powers. So he's just a bog standard player. So he only ever plays on the server on a fresh, normal standard account, but then has an admin account for when he needs to go to work, which I think that's the perfect use for that.
Yeah, truthfully, I don't know if I find someone to have 2 accounts in the same base to take the best gear. And I don't know if I really find that malicious, I'll be honest with you. I really don't, because main players with 1 account will do the same thing. And if they're not on, they get raided. It's not their fault. Truthfully, I don't really see that as malicious, I'll be honest with you. I would consider a malicious content or objective to be someone who's ghosting, someone who is strategically waiting at a certain window that only you know exists because you've seen the inside of your base. If you're getting rated to log in on that character to be able to shoot, I don't know if because like I said, people will take the best gear from their base on their main character if that's their only account, do the same thing. So I don't consider that malicious at all. It's being protective of what you have. Me personally, I don't give a damn about gear. Nothing is sacred to me. Who gives a shit? If I lose it, I lose it. Take it. If you get in, you can have it. I can't be asked. I really don't care, dude. I'll just fucking find it somewhere else. I'll be fine. But
a lot of that
obviously
comes down
most people
to the
don't
fact
think about
you're
that.
a streamer, a content creator. Most streamers and content creators don't do bases. They might do raiding, but they don't do bases because for the reasons you said. You know, I remember Taupe did a video about it. Why streamers don't have bases or something like that. They tried a base, they did it on stream, and it just got fucking targeted. So you guys don't get attached, but for the factions like you have on DayZ Underground or DayZ Down Under, it's part of the reason why I don't want to really get into the faction stuff anymore. But they get very heated, and I know that's on them, but it's hard to say when it's not something that really affects you about for others. Because like one of the other issues I know on servers is when they wipe dude. people will get their old account and they'll run straight to the best buildings that they know are going to get fortified, and pick up a few basic things along the way, and then log out. 2 weeks later, they log back in and they're inside someone's base.
That's malicious. That's malicious use of alt account. Yeah, absolutely. No, and a lot of it goes, like you said, content creators. First off, you're right. We don't build bases because we're going to get raided. To our credit, we've built a base and we have not been raided yet. So I'm actually shocked. Everyone knows what server we have it on, and we haven't been raided. So I'm surprised pleasantly. This was Minder's idea. Whatever, I run with the punches. I could care less. Another thing is that I always want to output to people that are watching my stream, people that are watching my YouTube videos, that I don't value gear over experience. Yeah. So I never build bases because I don't want to be, for the most part, sitting in a base and putting more value on the gear versus being out there using it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I experience over gear every time, which is why I don't base build.
Yeah, I think I can kind of see it from both perspectives. Like I say, if you're playing on a server where you've got you're having a really good event, for example, and you're like you say, you're at Northwest Airfield, it's a PvP event, you die and you immediately switch over to an alt account that's fully geared at Northwest, in a room that you have no reason being anywhere near at that point to get that advantage over that other team. I like to say, I think that's the malicious stuff. That's where I sort of draw the line. Like I say, I know I've seen a few people on Twitter and things like that have spoken about the idea of alt accounts before, and you have ones. I did see one. I can't remember where I saw it. I'm sure it was on Twitter somewhere, where a guy was saying him and his wife play DayZ together quite often. So what they'll do is he has 2 accounts, she has 1. And they'll switch over depending on what account he's using, so that they can log out together, so that when they log back in, they're in together and they can quickly go and run. Similar to what you were saying, dude, about having alt accounts and stuff to meet up with people. If you're doing it legitimately that way for a good reason, then absolutely. But like you say, if you're doing it to get an advantage on someone at Northwest Airfield in the middle of an event or something, then I think that's where it needs to not be happening.
I would love to play DayZ with my missus. She can't stand video games.
I would love to play DayZ with your missus as well, to be fair, because I get the strange feeling she'd be oddly good at it.
She would be scary at it. She would be a bit like Danny Boy.
She married and had a child with you, so there's she's got to be there's got to be something there that she's the next DayZ psychopath. You can see it happening. She's obviously a glutton for punishment in some way. But yeah, the main point of contention that we've got this week is around admin abuse. Now, there's been a lot about this going on Twitter recently. I've seen a lot of people commenting on it. I shall just share a link to it in the chat. But it's Stimpy. Now, I have my own opinion of why I think this occurred in the first place. But I'll go ahead and play this, this 14-second. Yeah, I'll play this on first. For some reason, whenever I go full screen on Twitter, it just becomes shit quality.
Are you friendly?
You're a cheater, right?
What?
Why you do this? What the fuck, you motherfucker, bro? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Are you friendly?
So, I kind of get. It was a funny video. It was absolutely hilarious. And as someone who likes to troll my player base on the server I help with, I can see the funny side of it, but
did you watch the full video?
Yeah, it was a bit much. It was a bit unnecessary to go down that route. It made for a funny content. It made for a great video that I'm sure has got some decent views on it. But dude,
it's okay. So this again. maybe I'm too laid back, but I don't give a fuck. The video was amazing. We sat here on my stream and we all laughed. I'm talking about like 100 people. Okay, like I'm beside myself. Stimpy is so fucking funny. I can't tell you, dude. Like, dude, yeah, it was admin abuse, but it was like it's not like he does that all the time. He did it for a video. He does it occasionally, and it was fucking hilarious. I sat here in tears laughing the whole time. Like, people just need to learn to lighten up. It's not like he's running around on DayZ fucking doing this every time he's live. He does it for the memes, for the value of the comedic value, and it actually makes me want to play DayZ watching videos like that, because you can go on a third-person server, and I actually talked about this earlier, going on Trump's wall just to fuck around. That's exactly what I would do as if I had admin powers. I don't, but if I did, I would do stuff like that once in a great while for the laughs. I'm not going to do it to be malicious or be intentively trying to ruin someone's experience, which I know for a fact Stimpy does not do. He just does it for the entertainment value. And dude, I loved the video. It was absolutely funny.
Yeah, I think the biggest criticism that I sort of saw in regards to it, and I think he put it in the video, if I'm not mistaken, where people were then going into the Discord for the 1SK server and saying, like, I donate to this server and this shouldn't be happening. And I kind of get it. I kind of get, like, people being pissed off. If you've spent real world money and an unholy amount of time building your base just for some YouTuber to come in with admin powers and kill you by making you overly vomit for 20 minutes until your character dies, I get why that would be, like, really annoying.
Look, dude, I'm not going to sit here on a fucking soapbox and say I didn't piss myself laughing as well. I did. But it's not a good look for that server. They pissed off a lot of people, and the server admins have upset a lot of their player base by allowing it to happen. It is funny as fuck, and I do my own shit on my little server. My thing is trying to scare the fuck out of people with bear sounds and wolf sounds and stuff like that. But
which I can assure you
where I draw the line, dude, is killing players. Killing players for what is effectively, boil it down, it was done for two reasons: money and promotion.
I was going to say, so the server got nothing but promotion. They have been getting nothing from promotion from Stimpy for these types of videos. Two, we don't know that these guys haven't been reimbursed with items to fill their base with, which I guarantee you they probably have, more than likely. Yeah. It's not as serious as, like, these comments come through, those people, I'm sorry. Oh, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it on your podcast, but...
No, say it. Say it.
No, I don't want to say it. They just need to...
Feel free to DM it to me and I'll say it.
Well, okay. So,
you can say anything here,
I'm not
mate.
going to... Okay, they're being fucking pussies. Get over it. Dude, you decided to pay real money on a server that you know Stimpy plays and advertises. He's been doing it for a long time, okay? You're probably guaranteed fucking reimbursed for that gear. It's just gear, dude. Who fucking cares, man? Like, honestly, I guarantee if these guys were going back and watching those videos, they'd probably be fucking laughing. Guaranteed. Like, it's not that serious. You know that it's not going to happen all that often, if ever at all. Right? And it's happened once. It got tons of views. You got your name in a video, and you probably got reimbursed for gear. Let's be honest. If you didn't, that falls on the owners of the server. They have to be... Yeah, you know what? And honestly, and let me just say this. For the owners of the server, should probably be saying in their Discord that, hey, just so you know, we gave Stimpy admin rights. He's going to do a video. We have no idea how this is going to affect gameplay. If anything happens, you'll be reimbursed for gear. Maybe let people know beforehand. If they didn't know, then that falls on them. If that falls on the server owners. Maybe they should have said something. But other than that, my God, man, it's probably not as serious as these people make it seem, truthfully.
You just said what should have happened. They should have... I don't know how much you know about the background info, but they were coming up to a wipe. And this was why they allowed it to happen, because they're going to be wiping their server. But full disclosure should have been made. I know You could call them fucking pussies, and yes, they're carrying on like pork chops. I've done that myself. I've carried on like a pork chop in the past as well. It's why I avoid the faction stuff. But people get very invested in their little bases, their little slice of heaven, and all the rest of it. And then to have someone just without knowing what the fuck is going on, coming in and just fucking with you, and he named those people as well. He didn't blur out their names or nothing like that. He publicly shamed them for carrying on like a pork chop. But that's also got to be, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, but I'm not so happy with that side of it, the public shaming of these people, their game tags and all the rest of it. But they should have been upfront and said, we're wiping, have fun. By the way, we've let Stimpy loose on the server with admin powers. Be prepared for whatever the fuck's going to happen.
Duck for cover. It's about to get real. I think the issue is, though, as well as like you say, if they had gone full disclosure and said, look, we've given Stimpy admin powers, we're wiping tomorrow anyway, just be on your toes because shit's about to go down, it'll be funny as fuck. That's all well and good. I think the issue then is that people are going to be kind of expecting it. So the second anything happens that is out of the ordinary, that wouldn't normally happen, they're going to go, this is Stimpy doing it. So you wouldn't necessarily get those genuine reactions from people in the video. You'd have something that as well. Something would happen. You'd suddenly start vomiting, and you'd be like, for Stimpy, is that you? For fuck's sake, come on, mate. And it at that point, then it just makes his job a lot harder to put that stuff in a video. So
instead, people were sitting there thinking there was a hacker on the server.
Right. So you know what? And I completely agree with that. I'll also say that again, like that's definitely, I'm 50-50 on it. Like I said, maybe there should have been some way to notify their fan base, but at the same time, if they acknowledge that they're about to do this, then they should. I guess I'm not 100% if they took care of their paying players. I don't know if they reimburse
Someone made
them.
a comment in the Discord, if Stimpy's not out of my base in the next minute, I'm cancelling my subscription. The reply to it was, make a ticket.
Yeah.
Make a ticket.
See, we do that in our Discord for our server.
Yeah, yikes.
We do that. Anyone has an issue in our server, it's like, make a ticket and we will help you fix it. But at the same time, we don't have YouTubers with admin powers coming on and fucking going crazy. So
it was funny.
It's
it was fucking funny. I laughed. I laughed, but it was a bit. At times, I was laughing, going, "Oh fuck, that's not good. That's gonna piss off." I was laughing because I knew a lot of people were gonna get fucking salty as.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happened as well, and that's what makes it so much funnier.
I think it was just funny, man, and honestly, like those people, they're not gonna pay, but and in the same light, the server owners are gonna get way more contributions to their server because Stimpy made those videos. They're gonna see that it's 1SK, and they're gonna get 10 times more money versus losing those few or three people that just don't know that things are funny and that it was a joke and that they're probably gonna be reimbursed, which I'd imagine they would have as server owners. They reimburse them for stuff.
Yeah, I think if I was a server owner, if I was in that situation, I would try and give something back. Once the wipes happened, I would try and give something back. But I think one of the things I said in the Discord when we first kind of found out that this had happened was with 1SK, it's a weird one because now with with Smoke's Day 1 servers, I know a lot of people have jumped ship and gone to the Day 1 servers and almost exclusively play there, and it's a lot of people that I used to see a lot on the 1SK server. So guys like Lax Hawthorne, he used to play pretty much only on the 1SK servers, and as a result, you jump into any one of Lax's streams 6 months ago, and you would see the same people, the same almost characters in his stream every time. You'd have guys like him, Tommy DeGun, Jill. That you would see them in his videos, in his streams all the time, and it was always on 1SK. But now that Smoke's Day 1 servers are up, you still get that same thing. You see a lot of the same people, but they're just on a different server. So there's a part of me that kind of wonders, did 1SK purposely go to Stimpy, or Stimpy go to them and say, look, Smoke's basically, for all intents and purposes, got the monopoly here. We've lost a shit ton of our player base, some of whom were probably paying some sort of subscription fee for priority queue or whatever else. Can we do something like a publicity stunt almost that ups those numbers again? Because we've lost a lot.
Maybe they paid him to do the video.
That's what I'm wondering, because like I say, you have a guy like Lax Hawthorne playing on your server. That's a bit of something to talk about. You know, that's, you put that in the fucking first line of your YouTube video. You know, we have Lax on our server. That's something you don't keep quiet. So I would imagine that he, specifically him, would have brought a shit ton of people to that server, to 1SK, and now he's not on that server as much anymore. I would have thought quite a lot of people would have also followed suit. And especially when you look at like the day one servers, you know, it's the new hottest thing in town. Everyone wants a part of it. So a lot of servers, not just 1SK, but a lot of servers are going to see dwindle in numbers to a degree because they're not the popular server anymore. So I kind of wonder whether they did it with that in mind. But yeah, like you say, it was a funny video. If you take it at face value for what it is, it was a funny video, and I sincerely hope he does another one. But like I say, I can see it from the players' perspectives. It must have been very frustrating. And like you say, someone's like, if Stimpy's not out of my base in 5 minutes, I'm cancelling my sub. I think that goes a little bit too far. I think that's a bit of an overreaction from that person.
The overreaction was the people calling him out. And, you know, your content shit, mate. You're a shit cunt and all the rest of it. I'm sorry, no. Call a fucking spade a spade. He is a funny, funny fucker. He is a funny, funny man.
Yeah, I think it just goes to the generation. Unfortunately, I think it's just. And again, I'll say it, and maybe it'll cause some controversy. I hope not, but I think everyone's just being a bunch of whiny pussies. I'll be honest with you. People don't let shit roll down their back anymore, man. It's not about fun. It's about wah wah wah. Like, you hurt my feelings, instead of just like seeing things from a different light. You know, unfortunately, I mean, we're all guilty of it sometimes, but some people they live their lives like that. And I can't see it, man. People get too worked up about a lot of things that are out of their control.
Yeah, people.
Snowflake generation. That's what Omen's. Yeah, exactly. It's a bunch of. Yeah. I mean, just come on, bro. Come on, dude. It's a video game. It's supposed to be funny. It's just loud, you know. And people know who he is too, you know. And you watch the video, they all know who he was. And they're just trying to bring him down to a level of a minuscule level to make him feel small, like he's not a person.
Like Helkiana said before, though, 1SK in Australia are that big, they don't care. This is what do they say? Any publicity is good publicity. This is good publicity for them.
It's all meant in good fun, and I mean,
there'll be people lining up to be in the next Stimpy video.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. If I truthfully, like, he couldn't troll me, because I'd hear his voice and I'd know right away, and I'd fucking start laughing. I'd be like, oh, dude. But I would, if it was to happen to me, I would willingly let it happen, probably, because it's going to be funny. You know, they do, the Karma Crew admins do that to us once in a while too. They'll all get naked and they'll run in and start dancing in front of our cameras when we're AFK, or they'll spawn some bears in to fuck with us. But it's never like that serious. We always laugh about it. It's hilarious. The chat loves it. It's never been that serious where we're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking stop paying, or I'm gonna stop playing. Like, come on, bro.
Dumpgrow's got a good point there, though. So they've done this. What else are they doing? What else have they done? This does open the question for a server's reputation. Now, 1SK is a shits and giggles server. Some people are on there playing for sheep stations, but most people are on there playing for fun. Same as like a Trump's Wall sort of one. But it does affect the reputation of a server, and it now does open the question. So what else have they done in the past? You know, if there's been question marks over things that have happened, if the admins are prepared to let this happen, what else are they going to let happen? You know, we've all heard the stories of servers where admins abuse.
Yeah, I mean, there are some what ifs and questions there, but at the same time too, like, if this again goes back to common sense. I personally feel that if you're playing a third person server, it should be common sense that it's not going to be the same experience as a first person. It's not going to be as serious. It's not going to be as it's just going to be very carefree, very memey. The third-person experience is completely different from the first-person experience. When you go on first-person servers, you're expecting, aside from like the hideout, shout out to the hideout, love the server, love the owner, Mills, you're fantastic. But when you go on a first-person server that's like not like the hideout, you're expecting some sort of serious level. But when you say third-person, when I say third-person server, what's the first server you think of?
DayZ Underground. Well, first person.
Third person. I'm sorry.
Person?
Third person server.
Oh. Don't really
What's the
think of them that
first? You don't think of one that's a third person server? If I
Wall.
say no context trumps wall. The experience that you're going to get on a third person trumps wall server is like a completely different from what you're going to experience on DayZ Underground, Karma Crew, you name it. Any serious first person server, it's going to be a completely different experience.
I think I got to agree with Foxy on his one. As soon as you said third person, BWAF, that was one of the first ones that came into my mind.
So Blue Waffle Attack Force has been around since the beginning, since DayZ started. Essentially, it's been around
Pretty
for
much.
a long time, and the graphic of that server's player base and its standing have changed so much over the years. Actually, the reason why I don't play it anymore is because it's third person and it's very there's too many
dude,
mods.
Read the last comment from Dumpgra there. Tell me what you think about that. I'll read it out just so in case people watching this video later.
I'm reading it. Shoving Billy into the locker in high school was funny, but just because I got half the school laughing at it doesn't mean it was right. Admin abuse is about the same. So I don't feel like there was... Okay, so at the end of the day, we're talking about a video game, right? There was no personal attacking on Stimpy's behalf into these people. He wasn't saying, I bet you're fat behind the game. He wasn't saying any of that stuff. He was messing around with in-game mechanics with people that he was given permission to do. It's not something he did, like he didn't buy cheats to go out of his way to do it, right? He had permission from the server owners to do this. He was given the rights to do this. That falls on the server owners. He full well went into the situation knowing that he was going to do it to make people laugh for game relation, not for these people's personal lives. There was nothing about these people personally in there. And if there was, then it wouldn't have been funny. It's completely different. We're talking about a video game. Like, you have to understand that if you're signing on to play, it's the internet. It's just a basic understanding that when you put yourself out there in a world, whether you're on camera or not, you're asking for anything to happen. And that's why we play games. We play games because we want an experience away from real life. Maybe in some lights, he shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, it's like, he was given permission to do this. That falls on the server owners. That's not on us.
That's the big thing as well.
It's just content.
Stimpy is Stimpy. Stimpy has always been an edgelord. Stimpy will push the boundaries. Just look at his fucking thumbnails, for example. This, if anyone's got beef with it happening, it needs to be directed at the admins of the server for allowing it to happen, not at Stimpy. It was a funny fucking video. They gave Stimpy the keys to the kingdom, and Stimpy did to the keys what he will always do with the keys. I don't think there'll be many other servers out there, unless they want free promo like this, lining up to, hey, Stimpy, would you like to come be an admin on Dean's Beans? Ain't gonna fucking happen. I just think people are taking it too personal. It was meant to be funny. It's supposed to add value to DayZ, and I think it did. It showed DayZ in a light that, it's goofy fun. It's silly. I often, when I meet survivors in game on first person, 9 times out of 10, I fuck with them. And it's not because I'm bullying them. Like, it's because it's funny. It makes it funny for them. So I just ran into a survivor just a couple of days ago. His name was Adam. He had 150 hours and he was playing on Karma Crew. His favorite streamer was Minder. All I did constantly was punch this guy, run and hide while he tried to chase me so desperately because he wanted that interaction. He wanted to stay next to me. He didn't want to lose me. He knew that I knew the game and he didn't know. And after it was all said and done, I asked him, honestly, man, tell me, did you have fun? And he said, dude, in my 150 hours, I've never had more fun than when I was playing with you. And, what I took away from all the goofy, silly, punching, you can call it bullying, whatever you want, was that this dude had fun running around with me and interacting with me versus, just looking for loot. And it's a whole different element of playing the game. I just put the like-dislike ratio up. 12,000
Yeah, I
likes,
saw that,
750 dislikes. So, yeah. For Stimpy, it's a win yet again. The guy gets insane numbers on his fucking videos.
Yeah, like you said, overall it was a funny video. You know, I think people have gone a bit far with the, you know, with the amount of hatred and the amount of dislike for it. I think it is overly a funny video.
It's not gonna happen. He's not gonna do it all the time. So it is what it is, man. It's just one video that was funny, and it is what it is.
Here we go. Here's the Sumrak. More numbers again.
Oh, well, there you go. The next part of the puzzle for Namalsk is up on Sumrak's Twitter there. Foxy was kind enough to link to it in the chat there. So if you have a chance, go and check that out. I give it maybe 2 hours from now, and that's going to have been cracked, because there are far too many intelligent people in this community that do the work so I don't have to, which I love.
I've looked at some of those, and I've not even tried to sit there and figure them out, truthfully.
No. I couldn't even imagine trying to figure that out.
I thought about doing a long time ago, like clues on a server with pen and paper, but obviously they've been modded back into the game. They're out of the vanilla game. But years ago, I thought about doing, you know, like writing a little note on a piece of paper and then like burying it somewhere or putting it where, like clues, like a treasure hunt. And obviously, it's fantastic that you know, the lead developer is doing this stuff. So
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's what's so good about this, is the fact that it's like Adam's kind of giving back to his own people in a way, because he started out as a modder. He created Namalsk, and he started out in this industry, or sort of in the DayZ community, doing that. So he is one of us, so to speak. So I think it's really cool that he's doing this, and he's doing it on community servers, on modded community servers. And I think it's really good that he's kind of giving back to the community he came from.
Oh, it is. I think it's fantastic. Truthfully, like, there's not that many. We don't have really many OGs left, but we do have Adam, and Adam's been around for a long time. Yeah, and I couldn't be happier with him in the position that he's in. Truthfully,
I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that disagrees with that as well. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that doesn't like the idea of Adam being the guy at the, you know, at the top, because like I say, he is probably the most, if not overqualified person to do that job.
So let me say real quick, because I was trying to pick Hyana's brain here in the chat, because I don't know. They said they don't like me, which is fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not going to make this negative at all. But I'm not saying that disregarding someone's feelings is okay. So let me clarify, because I do my best to try to be respectful, and I want people to know that I respect their opinions on things, and I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is put out a negative vibe to you. So you know, it sucks that you think that way, and it bothers me that you think negatively of me. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I have no right to that, no control over that. But let me say, I don't think that disregarding someone's feelings is okay. I do think, again, that the opportunity to tell the players of the server falls on the server staff. It doesn't fall on Stimpy.
I'll agree with that.
The server is wiping in 1 or 2 days from this video being made. They're going to lose their stuff anyway. I think it was all in good fun, and I don't think there was any harm in trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, advertise your server by making a funny video for your community, not only to enjoy, but for other people to come along and to have a possibility of having funny encounters like that happen. I think it was meant to be harmless, all in all. You know, so again, it's just clarification. I don't want to disregard how people feel. I never do. I always take that extremely, extremely serious. I always try to consider everyone that I encounter, and that's why I'm actually commenting you directly, because I think it sucks that you don't like me already. You've not really had any real conversation with me outside of this, so that's unfortunate. But you know, just to clarify on that a little bit.
I think the server handled it poorly. Stimpy will do what Stimpy does. I like that kind of humor personally. I engage in it myself. Brim was a victim of me the other week when I was doing the bear sounds and the wolf sounds near you, but
I still cannot get the stain out the trousers.
I did it. There's a clip on my channel as well where I did it to one of my base buddies as well, doing the bear sound, running towards him. But it's, yes, they're overreacting, but it's their right to react the way that they feel they should. And at the end of the day, some of them are paying money and they're paying for an experience, and something happened to them that was outside of their control. The killing him, I don't agree with the killing him. There's a line. Even Dumpgra himself said he's done stuff, for funny stuff sort of thing, but killing people, I think that was probably the line that got crossed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the server I help run. Like I say, I've said it before. I'm an asshole. I have admin powers. I fucking shouldn't. But the most I do is I will go into the item spawner, spawn in a banana and 2 kiwis, and I will teleport myself into your base while you're away, and I will position them in one of your storage to look like a cock and balls because I am a fucking child. So
the zucchini works better, mate.
Oh no, it's got to be the banana. It's always got to be the banana. I don't know what it is. The banana is it's the bend at the end that does it. It's just, and the hairy little kiwis, just every time. There has never been a person that has played on our server that has had a base and not had 3 pieces of fruit just randomly turn up with no explanation.
One thing I will actually raise though, because we've said most of the responsibility is on 1SK. I don't know about including and this kind of goes back to Dumpgra's point about, locking little Billy in the locker and all the rest of it, and half the school laughing. You could say the malicious part of his video is the fact that he chose to highlight the people who clearly know who he is. They're upset by what he's doing, and he clearly identifies them who they are, whether it be comments from in the Discord. That was a bit malicious. I think even you could agree with that, dude.
I don't think Stimpy went out of his way to intentionally have people targeted. I don't think that's what it was. We also have to remember too that Stimpy comes from the Rust community. The reason why I don't play Rust is because it's cancer. It's outright. Yeah. I can't do it. The way people are spoken to, the way people are treated on that game, that's bullying. If you want to, that is bullying for you right there. And I just won't. I don't have time. I went on Rust twice in my streaming in 6 years of streaming. One time, Keemstar happened to be hosting an event on the same server I was on, unbeknownst to me. I had no idea. And I was attacked by nakeds with spears for hours calling me Keemstar. Another time I played Rust, I was straight called racial slurs every time I went somewhere. The same word every single time I went somewhere, and I was absolutely turned off. I couldn't even play the game. It was just so toxic. Fucking children bullying each other, calling each other names. I haven't been back since, and I probably won't go back. So we also have to consider that Stimpy comes from that. Stimpy, maybe he didn't come. Maybe he started on DayZ, but most of his videos that I know him from are from Rust, and is absolute cancer. It is toxic beyond toxic.
Yeah.
And Stimpy's made his name being a first-class troll, whether it be by the fact that he can play well and he can quite often outplay people, a bit like Fubar Bundy. Fubar Bundy's got a bit of Stimpy in him, and I fucking adore Fubar Bundy. His whole bitch thing that he did to people when they were uncon lying at his feet and that is quite trolly. But Helkiana, one thing I will say is, don't judge Dude on this. Dude is a fucking top bloke. I've got a lot of time for him. And I understand where Dude's perspective is coming from. I'm kind of torn. I'm a bit older, a bit more, mellow these days. And I can see the fact that, some of these people were quite upset. But yeah, I don't watch Stimpy's Rust videos. I just can't stand Rust for the reasons you mentioned, Dude. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Maybe he should have blurred out their names and just showed the entire comment with a blurred out name.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I just think those were shown just to show that these videos actually happened, that they're authentic, they weren't scripted, which people seem to poke that finger a lot in the DayZ section these days. You know,
I just worry
I know
that these
Stimpy's
people are going to
content.
get picked on in the Discord and shit now, and oh, you're the fucking pussy who bloody got upset in the Stimpy video, and they're going to get targeted.
You know what?
And
everyone's different, and everybody handles things different. Me, I'm just, it's not that like you saying you're old school. You keep saying that you're older and all that stuff. And like, dude, I'm going to be 30 years old next year, and I just let shit roll off my back, man. I don't get offended. I don't really, like, I don't care. Like, people are going to think what they want of you. That's fine. People are going to react to different things differently from you, and that's fine too. That's completely okay. You know, letting things upset you and involve your attention and emotion too much is going to lead your life in a spiral of negative nonsense that you just have no reason to care about. You just got to let shit roll off your back. At the end of the day, the video was meant to be funny. It advertised DayZ. It advertised that server. Maybe it's not okay that he, like you, I agree that he put those people's names on there. He should have blurred that off. But I think at the end of the day, you know, people should be a little bit more open to that. This was just meant to be funny. It's not meant to pick on anybody.
And Dumpgrad coming back with another thing there as well, mate. Again, goes to the entitled mentality any age will get when they donate, sub, help, pay for anything. I'm a donator. How dare you do this to me? I'm sorry, mate. You're a donator. You're donating freely to the server, but it doesn't entitle you to special treatment. Just because you've donated doesn't mean that you're immune. What they did, whether it was right or wrong, is regardless. But doing the whole argument, I'm a donator, how dare you treat me like this, comes across as a bit Karenish.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the same goes with donating to Twitch streamers and giving your sub. Like, you don't have to donate. You don't have to sub. You choose to do that on your own. So if the streamer does something that you don't like, it is within your right to cancel that subscription or donate no longer. But it doesn't mean that you get to choose what the streamer does, what the creator does. It doesn't mean that you get to say what they're going to do next just because you decided to do that. It's free will. When you hop on the internet, you're open to everything, period. And if you don't know that, well, then I'm sorry, that's common sense. You know that you're going to be open to things when you go on the internet, when you open yourself up, when you talk to people, when you play games. That's the life that you live when you go on the internet. I'm not saying what people do on the internet is right, because there's a lot of things that I disagree with and I think are absolutely inappropriate. I think that everybody deserves to be treated fairly with respect, no matter what. If they're behind a username, whether they're on camera, whether it's in person, it doesn't matter. I do believe that everyone deserves to be treated with respect. However, I acknowledge openly that I'm open to criticism and people that want to be negative towards me because I'm on the internet. Everybody in the world can access me at any point in time that they want to. They can find out information about me as much as they want to. That's common sense. You know, the World Wide Web is worldwide.
Gator Baz, I don't find videos where you intentionally annoying people are funny. Not one person in that video laughed or thought it was funny. I wouldn't play on a server who allowed that or watch videos that are out to annoy. And that's really all that's happened here, is there's going to be a number of people leave 1SK because they're going to have those questions like we've raised. You know, what if they're willing to do this? What else have they done in the past? What else are the admins doing that we don't know about? They've opened themselves up as a admin abuse server. And people are going to leave, but just as many, if not more people, are going to flock to the server to be part of Stimpy's next video and to enjoy the trolling and the shits and fucking shenanigans and giggles and all the rest of it. That, you know, yeah, look at it as a win for maybe Pipsy or DayZ Down Under, servers that don't allow stuff like that. There may be people who go back to Pipsy now. No, don't want to be associated with 1SK if they're going to allow that. That's your choice. That's your choice to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that there are people here that are voicing their opinions, that they didn't think it was funny, because it offers both sides of the spectrum. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't think too hard into it, but there are other people who didn't think it was funny because they're focusing on how these people that were in the video felt, which I think is a good quality. I think it points out good traits in these people to point that out, that they didn't think that it was funny because they're seeing it from their perspective. That's good. That means you guys, your hearts are in the right place. But again, at the end of the day, it just falls back to my initial statement was that it's just a game. It was just meant to be funny, and it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. It wasn't meant to be malicious, I don't think. And I think where Stimpy failed to rid himself of any potential maliciousness was not blanking out the names.
At all. I reckon if you checked his Social Blade for YouTube, he would not have had a dip in subscribers. His subscribers love that sort of stuff. There'll be some who, no, that's not cool, man. But the majority, like Sergeant Spud there, I legit almost wet myself with the bear traps. But yeah, I don't play 1SK because I'm not surprised that 1SK have done this. I'm not at all. I don't play it. I don't know any of the admin team behind them. Don't know them from a bar of soap pretty much. But I'm not surprised that this is the server in Australia where it would happen. About the only other server I could think of that I wouldn't be surprised to hear about this is Trump's Wall. If it happened on Trump's Wall. I reckon Trump's Wall are probably sending fucking Stimpy an email right now. Mate, come on our server. We'll give you better admin powers.
Yeah, and again, that just falls into, like, you know, knowing what you're playing. You know what you're getting into when you play a server once, in my opinion. You know how serious it is, how hard it is to survive on a first-person server, and then when you go on a third-person, like Trump's Wall, and everyone... Trump's Wall, like... I'm sorry, people are going to maybe be upset about this, is literally like the Rust of DayZ. Like, I go on there knowing I'm going to be called a racial slur, knowing that people are going to try to belittle me. I have videos on my YouTube channel stacked up made of this, because every time I go on there, it's the same experience. Okay, and that's why I don't go on there.
We've got a streamer, an Aussie streamer, DudeIRage Murder. He's a PvP, plays on servers like 1SK and stuff like that. He's right into that sort of, you know, raiding bases and all the rest of it. And he, I know the main guy behind 1SK is a guy called Wiidox. And Murder is saying, I think it's a fucking joke, man. I told Wiidox straight how it was. This was that he's fucking dumb as fuck, and I got banned from the Discord. So 1SK clearly don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, that falls on the server owners again. I think at the end of the day, this all falls on the server owners. At the end of the day, it's their server. They're going to choose the atmosphere that they want people to play on, and it's up to the people that play the game to choose the atmosphere they want to be surrounded by. Yeah. So there are going to be people that are going to leave the server. Absolutely. I can see why some people that don't play. So the guys that were in that video may not have played that often. They may play DayZ every week and know just enough to base build and just enough to be able to stack their bases with gear. So maybe they didn't find it funny because they didn't get to play that often. But every single one of those people knew who Stimpy was. And they know that he plays on 1SK. So again, that falls on the server owners and the atmosphere that they want to create. And the potential to lose people is going to fall on their consideration of their feelings. And I completely acknowledge that. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more polarizing kind of parts of the community, isn't it? It's definitely one of those that there's such a split down the middle of different people's differing opinions on the video and on, you know, on what's happened. So, like I say, I think he definitely should have blurred the names out a bit. You know, I think there's fault on both sides, but I do agree that I don't think it's going to have much of a negative effect on Stimpy as far as his subscriber numbers and things like that are concerned, and I can't imagine it's going to have much, if any, of a negative effect on 1SK. Like I say, I think it's going to be one of those where any publicity is good publicity, you know, and it's not going to be as bad as I think few people are thinking it is.
Quick theoretical question. Could this affect their monetization standing with Bohemia?
Why would it?
Yeah, I can't imagine it would. I think there's got to be a bit of a disconnect with Bohemia there. I think when it comes to that, I think they've kind of got to keep their hands out of it. I think it's different if the actual server owners themselves did this and it wasn't for a YouTube video where there was clear promotion of the server. I think if it was just a server admins being toxic assholes and not giving a shit, then I think, yes, maybe Bohemia could step in. But I think in this situation, it would have to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And in this situation, I think it wouldn't do any good for Bohemia to go in and say anything about it or do anything about it.
I think it would be negative publicity.
Milo. I don't think Milo's service lost his monetization.
No. You know what, too? And, like, all of this again, like I can't say it enough, falls on the server owners. You don't have to like Stimpy, but you don't necessarily have to hate Stimpy for what they allowed. They allowed this at the end of the day. So if you have an issue with it, it's more towards 1SK than it is Stimpy. It's not necessarily Stimpy, because Stimpy has not changed his content at all. He's been the same trolley content for years. That's not changed. If anything, I think if people are upset, they should be upset with 1SK. Don't play the server. I mean, simple as that.
I think Bohemia needs to kind of take the religion side of things with this. And what I mean by that is, in this instance, Bohemia plays the part of God and gives us all free will to do what we want. I think that's the way they need to kind of do it, because if they start going in and removing monetization from servers, it's kind of like, who do they take it away from? Who do they give it to? I think it would make it a shit show of, well, you took the monetization away from 1SK for this Stimpy video, but you didn't take it away from Milo. They were two very different situations, although they were both admin power misuse, should we say. I think they've got to kind of play the devil's advocate a little bit and just let the community police itself. Because otherwise, it's like you say, it's going to be a case of, well, you didn't take it away from this person, but you did from this person. There's no, there's nothing that says clearly what you do and do not allow. I think they kind of need to take that step back and just let things sort of pan out on their own to a degree. Because once they start getting involved, it just becomes a whole another situation that blows up more than it really needs to.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right on that. I think like to Smash's point in the chat here, it's got to be pretty freaking an unbelievable situation for them to get involved. I think honestly, some of the devs would probably laugh, if not all the devs would laugh if they watched the video. I don't think they're really going to give two shits about it, truthfully. I've seen way worse happen and no one get involved. So, I mean, and honestly, I don't think if you would have brought this, if you didn't bring this up on the podcast, I wouldn't even thought twice about it. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't lose sleep over it. I didn't think, oh, those poor guys. No, I didn't at all. It's a video game, and I would have never, brought this up as like, oh man, do I think it was wrong? No, I thought it was a video. I thought it was funny, and I went on about my day. You're gonna embrace the content or you're not. I mean, it's just it's a matter of opinion at that point. At the end of the day, it's just opinions,
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And what I do disagree with, though, is Mark's. We need Adam's opinion on it. I agree with Helkiana. Don't involve Adam in it. He doesn't need the fucking ball ache at the moment with everything he's got going on.
Yeah, dude, we got to focus on the Molsk with him. He's worried about that. That's where I want his head at.
Especially with all the issues he's been having with like the website's provider he's been having issues with recently and things like that. Like, yeah, he and even then, even if you had a direct line to add, even if I could call him right now and say, oh, have you seen this? I can't imagine there'd really be anything he'd need or want to do, because at the end of the day, it's not, like I said, it's not his business. If Bohemia get involved, that becomes a whole another situation that blows up way past a simple Stimpy video. Like I say, it's things like, if you did something, you did some sort of punishment for this, but not for that. Where's the line? Where's the transparency? It's just far too much hassle. At the end of the day, I agree. I can't remember who it was, but someone said it further up in the chat there of, at the end of the day, it's not really that big a deal. No one's going to remember it in a couple of weeks' time. Stimpy will put out a different video that's got absolutely nothing to do with admin powers or anything, and it'll all be blown over. So if
not this week, man. I mean, he posts 1SK videos of playing the game and he gets shit on all the time, and nobody bats an eye about it. It is what it is, man. It's a video, it'll roll over. Everybody will be fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all in the name of entertainment. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you do, watch it, enjoy it, like it, subscribe, whatever it is you have to do. But let's not turn into a witch hunt over something so fucking simple.
It's so minuscule.
Leave the server.
It's so minuscule in the limelight, dude. Like, what server? I was playing it was a Devil Dog server. I was playing the server. They posted a video that it was clipped from my Twitch chat. It was posted on their Discord. It blew up, got thousands of views. We got raided, and then the server was wiped the next day. And I posted my opinion about this. I did not like that. One of the admins of the server actually posted my clip without my permission. I told them that I didn't like it, and what did I do? I didn't play the server anymore. It's that simple. I think people get themselves too wrapped up in this sort of thing. They get too emotional. They get too involved. And at the end of the day,
Helkiana's point there, though. Milo did it for content, and he still gets shit about it to this day.
The issue with Milo falls is not that it was scripted, is that Milo says these encounters are authentic, and they are not. They are scripted. That's where the issue comes from with Milo. And then he gives himself, well, it appears, this is not proven. It appears that he gives himself God powers in his server and says that these are authentic interactions.
No, the God knows proven. The God knows proven, and he admitted it.
So that's where the issue lies, is that he's not being upfront. So it's a completely different situation.
I think the content of the video it makes a difference to a degree as well, because Milo's video, like Dude just said, it was touted as being legitimate play. You know, he tried to hide the God power. Well, he didn't even fucking try to hide it, because he still had his HUD on, and you could quite clearly see he was blue freezing hypothermia and not losing any health. So I think it's a different thing. His video that he did that kicked it all off for Milo was very much a serious video of serious PvP that he touted as being legitimate, whereas Stimpy's video was very upfront. He showed that he had admin powers. It was meant to be a funny video. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously in any way. It was meant to be just a daft, silly, bit of content, and that's it. So the actual point of the content overall is different between the two. So I think there is a sort of a distinction to be made there to a degree as well.
Sergeant Spud, yes, but as I always say, wait for it to be on sale. Get yourself a bargain. You'll feel better about it, because DayZ can be frustrating at times.
Yeah.
So Gator, to your comments about Smoke taking the same approach with larger servers, again, that falls back to the comment I made about atmosphere. You know what you're getting into when you're playing third person versus first person. If you don't believe that there's an atmosphere, think about it now. Take a step back and take a look, because when you play a third person, then you know that it's going to be completely different. The community is all the DayZ community, but it's the third person community is completely different from first.
Because at its core, that's what this is. It's admin abuse. Is admin abuse ever acceptable on any server, regardless
It's never acceptable. No, it's not acceptable. No, if it's done maliciously. Obviously, it was given to him for him to be mischievous. They knew that going into giving him powers, which is, again, falls on one SK.
One man's
doesn't fall on anybody else.
Another man's freedom fighter. One man's malicious is another man's mischievous.
You know that Smoke wouldn't do that. I know Smoke, and I know Derek wouldn't do that. I know Derek wouldn't do that at all. Derek's channel is the way it is, and it's so unique because Derek offers a soft tone in a hardcore world, whether he's playing Escape from Tarkov or he's playing DayZ, and the dude just absolutely destroys almost everything in his path. And if he doesn't, he sees the comedy in things. On DayZ, I can't tell you how much I've been watching that dude play DayZ, or I have watched him play DayZ, and silly, stupid things happen, and he just lets it go. He knows that he could wreck everybody on his server if he wanted to, but he lets stupid shit happen, and it's funny. It's hilarious. So no, I'm not sitting here saying that admin powers are like abusing them is okay. God, it's not. Everyone knows that it's not. I just for the face value of what the video was supposed to be, it was supposed to be funny. Yeah, and it was funny, and that's it. The mistake I feel is not blurring out the names so that these people weren't targeted. And I don't know if they are being targeted. I couldn't tell you, but I'm not thinking about the names. At least I don't care. I'm not thinking about the names at all. Not saying that there's other people that wouldn't think that, but I'm personally not thinking about that. I just thought the video was hilarious, and I went on about my day.
Do you get involved in server discords much, dude?
No, I stay out of it.
There straight away is something that you're probably not aware of. for those who are in chat, Brim, you obviously have your server you play on, so you know the Discord as well. The people in there get to know each other quite well, and there can be some quite toxic behaviour. I would be curious to see what the discussion has been in the 1SK Discord about this, whether some people are being targeted because of their behaviour in the video, the way they reacted to Stimpy fucking with them. That's something actually I only just thought of then, and that was based on the comment there by Smash. Sounds like it's okay if it's funny and a third-person server. And then it just made me think, oh, sorry, not that one, Marx's one. But also if I was going to join 1SK, I wouldn't be surprised if having abused happened. And just made me think of in the Discord. But yeah,
so,
no.
I'm not saying like, man, I feel like maybe it's just the way I'm wording things and making myself sound like a bad guy here. I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be analytical, break everything down and see what you guys are saying and look at the situation and just talk about these things. And you know what? I am 99% way more laid back than most people that you'll meet because I just don't let things affect me. I truly do not care. People can say what they want, and I go into my life and I go forward and things, and I acknowledge that fully. I'm just saying, when I'm saying, I keep bringing up third person because I've been around for so long. I know there's a difference. I used to play third person for years. The reason why I got away from third person is because it's toxic. It becomes common sense when you play DayZ so much, the clear difference between first person and third person. First person is a more hardcore background, and it offers a more realistic, more mature atmosphere than third person does. Third-person servers are, in my experience, extremely toxic, and it's just, and I don't know how many hours you would have to say you would have to spend to know that, but you're gonna know that if you play DayZ a lot. I'm just saying, you're just gonna know. You're gonna know.
I think it does depend on the server. I kind of agree with Marx's comment that he made. Like, if to go on that server, you kind of wouldn't, like you say, you wouldn't be surprised if something happened because of the type of server. So whether that be Trump's Wall or whether it be 1SK or one of the infinite amount of others that sort of run that style, I wouldn't be surprised. If I was to go on to, say, like the Blue Waffle servers, for example, I think that might be the sort of almost the exclusion there, in that even though it's a third person server and it's very raid and PvP based server, I know from experience, because I know Ben, or Wiidevil as he's known, the guy who runs Blue Waffle, and I know his community to a degree. I know that that's not likely to happen. Something like that's not likely to happen on his server. But I think it does depend on the server more than it depends on most other things. There are going to be some servers out there that if I hit the play button on that server, I'm going into that knowing that there is a chance some weird shit's going to occur. Like when Uncle Ray Ray had his server, I didn't go onto that to think, right, I'm going to have a good laugh with a couple of mates, build a base, no one's going to fuck with me, because that's not what that server was for. That server was started up so you could literally run into the nearest military base, grab an AK and a big ass dildo and go and beat the shit out of someone and just be a knob end for 5 minutes. And that's exactly what happened. So I think there is that degree of separation where you kind of have to expect it on some servers rather than others.
100%. And I think most people disagree or not. I think 90% of people, if not higher percentage than that, they come to DayZ as new players because they're watching live streams or they're watching YouTube content. So all the information you need about a game is out there. Like, it's just impossible if you're interested in something to not know a little bit about it. And I think when these people are coming into DayZ, they might not know specific servers, but knowing what content creators out there are creating content, you know what direction they're going to know what direction they want to go to for the most part. 9 times out of 10, they're going to go into the stream or go into the YouTube content and ask exactly what server that they're playing on. the person that they're watching. So again, the information is out there at your fingertips. You know, some people just don't want to look into it. They just go into the chats directly and ask. You know, granted, some people are going to have to go and experience these things for themselves before they actually come to the chat. Okay, I don't want to play this because this happened and it was toxic, and that's not why I'm on. But I think most people know what they're getting into because they watch videos or live streams.
And no, admin abuse isn't inevitable on third person, but third person servers generally, you don't really see any first person servers of the likes of Trump's Wall or 1SK. First person servers generally tend to be more serious. People who play first person are generally more, when I say hardcore, I don't mean hardcore survival, but they're more hardcore about the game in general. Third person's a bit more casual, a bit more laid back, a bit more shenanigans, and can lead to more toxicity. Admin abuse can happen on any server. I would even possibly entertain the idea that bad admins would be more likely to abuse on a first person just due to the difficulty factor. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what 1SK was like because I used to watch Lax's streams all the time when he would stream on 1SK. Still watch his streams now. I purposefully went one night onto 1SK because I wanted a little bit of what he had. I wanted that kind of experience. I very much enjoy watching his streams and the things he did. And so I purposefully went onto 1SK looking for that same, and it was just PvP in Electro and just a bunch of crazy people running around having a good time doing their own thing. There was no there was no toxicity behind it. It was all just part of the fun, and that's exactly what I got. I got exactly what I was expecting to get on that server. I was on that server for like 2 hours, ran around Electro, died God knows how many times, got a couple of kills, I think, if I was lucky, and just had a good time. And I went on that server knowing that that is exactly the type of thing I was liable to find. If I went on to, for example, your server, Boydie, and being that it's an interaction-based hardcore server, and the second I logged in, the first person I ran into decided to just shoot at me or shout, "Fuck you, you're an asshole," and just be a bellend, I would be like, well, that's not what I was expecting on this server. So then I would have a bit more of a concern. But I think, like Dude said, you know what you're getting into with a lot of this stuff. If you can't be asked to do the research and figure it out, or you haven't figured it out yourself by now, that there are servers out there that are more suited to that style, then open your fucking eyes, because they're everywhere. You can see them, and the information isn't hard to find.
It falls on the person, exactly. I mean, dude, I can't say it enough, and I'm trying to say it, and I'm trying to be as respectful and polite as possible, because the last thing I want to do is offend I don't want to offend people, but everything that you want to know is, and everything that you're diving into is at your fingertips. It's the internet. I mean, this is not new. Internet's been around for a long time, and you can find out what you're getting into before you go into it, before you actually hit play. And know that that's not the atmosphere you want to be surrounded with. I mean, it's just that simple.
I think we've exhausted it.
Yeah, I mean, we could go around all day on this.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look at making towards some sort of ending here. So every week when we do the podcast, dude, when we have a new guest on, we always have a segment right at the end. Normally we do like a DayZ Twitter watch. So we would look at the official DayZ Twitter account, see what's been going on, see if they've tweeted out anything cool recently. Not been a huge amount of that in the last few months, since Jakub unfortunately no longer has the position of community manager.
If you check their replies, there was a lot of gift replies being used, which was good.
Yeah, and I mean that comes to me as well, because I love that, because if anyone's ever spoken to me via text message, via Discord, via tweets, Facebook Messenger, any of that, I am fucking big on gifts. I love sending them because there is one for every occasion, and I don't have to sit there and type out a message. I've got all my favorite ones saved. None of them are polite, and I love sending them. Absolutely love gifts. So it's nice to see. It really is. But like I say, I can only hope that that's a step in the right direction towards what's going to be coming in the future. Because at this point, I mean, they've filled that position now. That community manager position, they must have filled that now. So hopefully, whoever the new community manager is going to be able to step up. They've got some big shoes to fill from previous community managers, especially Jakub. But yeah, especially
Batty. Jakub was like a hot fling. Batty was like a long relationship. Jakub was just, that one night kind of fling stand that, damn, that was a good night, but you're never going to have it again. He wasn't around long enough, but he did make a massive impact in the short time. Batty is number one for me. Esmos number two. Then Jakub. Jakub was just fucking hilarious, man. It's a person you could always wish you could have another night on the piss with.
Yeah, see, Jakub for me, I was never around back in the day when you had Batty around as much. I kind of joined towards the end of her tenure, so to speak, in the community. So for me, Jakub is the main one that I know from my time now joining the community. So, and the fact that he was kind enough to come on the podcast and and was one of the best guests we've had so far, just kind of adds to it. But yeah, we'll head on to the community spotlight section for the end of the podcast here, because we've been going a fair whole while. I think about 3.5 hours at this point. So I'll throw it over to you first of all, dude. Is there any sort of content you've seen this week? It could be a YouTube video, it could be a streamer that you've watched, it could be a mod that you've seen, anything like that. Fuck off, Ray. I'm trying to be professional. Is there anything you've seen recently that's caught your eye that you think is deserving of a shout out?
This is why I like Uncle Ray, by the way.
I fucking love Uncle Ray.
To be honest, I read the itinerary this morning and I didn't really prepare for this. Obviously, I watched the Stimpy video. I thought it was hilarious. That would have been something I would have brought to light, but people are not 100% okay with that. So
you can have that if you want. It's not a problem.
No. I truthfully, you two should start, and maybe let me take a gander here, because I've watched some things and I just can't remember all of it. And I truthfully didn't look at the itinerary this morning, so I have no idea. I didn't look really.
Fair enough. Well, I've put a link to in the chat there to a Steam community link. This is what Boydie put up in our agenda as a mod spotlight. So this is for the Hell Retex mod collection. And I will agree on that. They are some fantastic mods. Definitely well worth looking into. The Hell Retex survival and weapons and things like that just adds a whole extra thing to it, especially when you're running like a hardcore survival type server. Absolutely perfect for that sort of thing. Fantastic mods.
And he will not let you donate either. I had an argument with them in their Discord. They don't want any donations, and I respect the reason why. They don't want anyone to think that if they donate money, they have an influence over it. And yeah, Scalp and Hellmaker are the two main ones. They're also working on a new and improved version of Medical Attention, which is going to add some really fucking cool concepts. I'm one of the people in the group with them talking about it, and some of the stuff they've got planned. Oh my fucking God, I can't wait to get this mod on my server. It's just going to add that depth to DayZ that's lacking on most servers, in my opinion. Everything from the broken bones until they add them back in vanilla, through to new diseases, and yeah, I won't say any more. It's not my right to steal their limelight.
Well, here's a question for you then, Boydie. We were very lucky to have Sumrak Adam on the podcast a couple of months ago, and I think if I remember rightly, he did say that broken bones are something that they are looking into and they would like to bring back. This is a question to throw to you, to Dude, and to the people in the chat. Do you think that is something we will see before the end of the year? Because I believe we've got at least one more update, 1.10. Due before the new year rings in. So do you reckon that's going to be included there?
A lot of people are saying 1.10. I've heard that as well, Foxy.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think we'll see it before the year's over, 100%.
I think it makes sense to bring it in with with having everything running for Namalsk, because he says he wants Namalsk out before the end of the year, and being that Namalsk itself, whether it be the map or the sort of the stuff behind it, is going to be a little bit more of a hardcore feel to it. I think it makes sense to have Broken Bones be reintroduced to the game around about the same time as he releases Namalsk in the 2 parts that he is. It seems like they kind of would fit together quite well in that more survival-esque style.
Sorry. So you asked me before if there's anything I'd seen. I guess it's not really anything specifically that I've seen, but one thing I will say, and this is just my opinion, you may or may not agree with me, but I think that DayZ, regardless of its flaws right now, is in a really good spot. I think it's extremely enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the shit out of it, non-biased. I think there's some issues with the damage system, the health system that need to be addressed, and I think they will be in the coming months. But I think DayZ is in a really good spot, and I also feel like because it's in such a good spot, it's getting a lot of publicity right now. We're seeing a lot of big Tarkov streamers come over, and they're actually more consistently playing DayZ. Anton, Breaking Skulls, for example, those guys are playing DayZ more often than not, and it's refreshing to see for the most part. So I'm super excited. What's that?
I'm going to upset you, dude.
You're going to upset me?
Oh yeah, and Joeito, and anyone who's on the .62 bandwagon. .62 was a hot chick, and I had a good relationship with her. It was great while it lasted, but I am so much happier with my 1.0. Oh, he's gone. I am so much happier with my 1.09 girlfriend.
He's broke it.
I'm done with you. We're done now. We're done forever.
We lost your camera.
Well, Foxy's made a good point there in the chat. 26k players. I've got the Steam charts up here. Playing 35 minutes ago, and the same for the 24-hour peak of 26,159. So, like you say, it's clearly still something to love.
No, I think honestly, like, and let me just. I know we're getting closer to wrapping it up. I see it's quite late for Boydie there, almost 4 a.m, man. We all have different opinions, but at the end of the day, man, we all just want the game to thrive. I've been here for 7 years, and I wouldn't have been here for 7 years if I didn't care about the game.
Yep.
So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I do care. I do consider everyone, and I think that we're all here because we all feel the same way, and we want to see the game thrive, and we want to build each other up and see the community thrive. That's why the topics are not just about us; they're about the community.
Yeah.
And I think that goes without saying. So sometimes, obviously, we get wrapped up in disagreements, and that's okay in the moment. But at the end of the day, we all love the game. We're all passionate about the thriving of the game, and I think it's important that we point that out and remember that we're all people and we all care about each other for the most part, especially in the DayZ community, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, very well said. So that's pretty much does it. I'll quickly throw in the chat my community spotlight. It's actually Fubar Bundy's most recent video, Sniper Overwatch. Some pretty good.
Is that the one he just dropped?
Pretty
tonight?
good sniping. No, well, this was maybe a week or so ago. I didn't realize he dropped one tonight. I haven't been on YouTube much today, so I'll definitely be checking it out when he does. But this one is Sniper Overwatch, him and a friend, and he was just basically sniping the living shit out of everyone, which, as I said earlier in the podcast, bit of DayZ sniping is something I love.
Fubar's been around for a long time. Long time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I tell you what, man, he's one of the first people I watched. I've loved watching his content all the way from pre-.62 to now. He makes sensational videos. Yeah,
it is literally quality over quantity with him. He doesn't put out videos every week, but when he does put them out, they are absolute bangers without a shadow of a doubt. So definitely well worth. No, not a chance.
I agree.
So I think that pretty much, unless anyone else has got anything else they want to throw in there.
No, 3:30, 3:40 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
The old-
It's always next week.
The old man needs his bed rest. So we will call it quits there for this episode of the podcast. So thank you to
Next
you,
week's
Boydie.
guest.
Go on, I'll let you say it just in case I get it wrong.
Next week's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be another one that I'm really excited to have. Another bloke who, just like Dude, is a natural on camera. Happy Bombs.
Oh, fucking happy, dude. I tell you what, dude, I'll kiss him where the sun don't shine. No, I'm just kidding. I love Happy, man. That's a good guest to have. He's awesome.
He's a very happy man, and he is a true believer in DayZ. The stuff he does behind the scenes with or not really even behind the scenes, but with his True Colors events and his Day Zero servers, and he's just, I love the guy. I fucking love the guy.
Yeah. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that's got a bad word to say about him, and I think that speaks volumes, about the man himself. So, really looking forward to that one. Same time next week as always. But thank you, Boydie, for obviously being here and helping me out with this one, and obviously, as always, helping me with the hosting. And Dude, thank you for coming on at relatively short notice and gracing us with your presence.
You're a
You
very
definitely
good guest, man. I like the fact that you disagreed with us on points as well. I love that. I love the fact that we were able to have a respectful discussion whilst disagreeing on some points, and that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah.
The objective is to generate conversation, my friend. Conversation generates change.
Yes. New ideas. You got to be open to new
Love it.
ideas.
Yep.
New host.
Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me along, man. Like I said, I'm always open to talk. When it comes to conversing about DayZ, I got a lot to say. I've been around for a long time, so all I want to do is offer maybe a different perspective or a positive stride towards change. So thank you for both having me, man. You guys were fantastic.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. But that'll do it for episode 31 of the DayZ podcast. Like Boydie said, next week, episode 32 with Happy Bombs. So that'll be a good one. But until then, guys, thank you so much for sticking around, chatting, giving your opinions. We look forward to seeing you all back here again, same time next week. Hashtag Blame Minder. I'd put hashtag Blame Minder for fucking everything, just because why not?
Mind a bitch. Dude, trolling him in chat. All the best,
God,
everyone.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your night. Peace out.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much.
Ciao for now.